Everywhere you look, there's proof that semiconductors are changing the world. They're enabling new technologies that help save lives, enhance access to education, and shape the future of business and computing. But as semiconductors become increasingly critical to our world, demands continue to grow for them to become smaller, more efficient, and more sophisticated. At Lam Research, we're innovating to meet this demand every day. We create machines that enable modern chip production and push the boundaries of what's possible. We partner with customers to boldly take on the world's biggest challenges while supporting communities and driving greater sustainability. From enabling atomic-level precision to breaking down barriers to collaboration, we're transforming our industry and creating the breakthroughs that make so many other innovations possible. Because at Lam Research, we know semiconductor innovation will change the world in ways we can only imagine. Now, let's prove it.
As an epicenter for sustainability initiatives, Singapore carries the torch to inspire youth from around the world. STEM innovation, international collaboration, and a shared global purpose unite student-athletes, change-makers, and future leaders from more than 190 countries to compete, collaborate, and cooperate in the most exciting robotics competition in the world. With a firm commitment to create more sustainable ways to power our planet, the First Global Challenge is convening the next generation to transform the world through science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and innovate solutions that enable us and our planet to thrive. Let's reimagine the future of energy. It's time to empower our planet. Join us from the 7th to 10th of October 2023 at the Singapore Expo in Singapore.
Good afternoon. My name is Tim Dodds, and on behalf of First Global, we are pleased to welcome you and the world to the 2023 First Global Challenge at Singapore Expo in Singapore. We're honored to have viewers joining us today from all over the world, both in person and via the live stream. Joining me in the booth today is someone I was privileged to work with for the First Global's event in Mexico a few years back. I'm glad to share this MC booth with her once again. So glad to have you back here, Marlene.
Thank you, Tim. I'm really excited to be here again. Anyone who's ever had a chance to attend the First Global Challenge can attest to how it's unlike any other event they've been to. The environment, the energy, and the inspiration that fills these halls is something that draws, including myself, everyone back again.
And that's something I can certainly relate to as well. Last night's opening ceremony was an immersive kickoff for this 7th edition of the First Global Challenge. I'm always inspired to see the hope and drive that our students from all over the world bring to this very event. And it's clear that these are some of the world's brightest minds. And as they come together to engage in competition, conversation, and collaboration, you can't help but feel hopeful for the future that these young leaders will play an important role in shaping.
Exactly, team. We've seen some of that throughout this morning as teams have been making final adjustments to the robots and started their practice matches. We will soon see them competing on the field behind us and as we kick off the competition. But first, here's a recap of the opening ceremony from last night.
What you're seeing right now is some of the background work where all of our teams are not just getting ready to compete, but working alongside one another as they tweak their robots. We actually had some practice matches earlier on today, and we're going to be taking a look at the game in a few minutes as well, but we're also going to have plenty of people joining us in the booth today. And while they're getting ready, we got to just talk about Singapore Expo Arena and the energy that exists in this building. Marlene, how are you feeling about it?
It's been crazy. It's like we said before, like anything we've never seen in any other event. Just the energy, the ambience, the spirit of the kids. There's nothing like it.
And it's certainly been a journey. The journey that teams took to get here was only really made possible by our many sponsors and supporters, including our official travel sponsor, Singapore Airlines. And we're grateful to them for their support. But over the course of the next 3 days, these youth from all over the globe are not only showcasing their robot skills on the competition floor, but they're serving as representatives of their nations, showcasing skills they've built and celebrating the spirit of the first global camaraderie that brings us all together.
And one of our biggest supporters who has helped us make all of this possible is our title sponsor, Lam Research. We saw a short video about them play at the beginning of today's broadcast, and we are pleased to have two people from Lam Research joining us now in the booth.
Tim Archer is the president and CEO at Lam Research. He has also served on several corporate and nonprofit boards, including the National Consortium for Graduate Engineering Degrees for Minorities, also referred to as GEM, which is dedicated to increasing the participation of underrepresented groups in engineering and science at the master's and doctoral levels.
And Stacy McNeil is the Chief Communication Officer and Group Vice President of ESG at Lam Research, leading both the company's overall communication strategy and its nonprofit arm, the Lam Foundation. She currently sits on the GEM board as well. Welcome to you both. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Great to be here.
So I want to start by thanking you so much for everything that Lam Research has done to make this event possible. Now that you're here seeing this event in action, how does it feel to help the world convene in the name of STEM?
Well, I just spent a time down in the pits meeting with a lot of the teams, and I would just have to say that it is so inspiring to meet these students that have come from all over the world and to see the passion that they have to learn and to innovate and to solve problems, but also more importantly to work together and to meet others from around the world. And so, for us as trying to be a good corporate citizen, it just really makes us feel great about what we're able to do and give back here.
Wonderful. And can you both tell us how the generous support that you've lent fits into Lam's goals and aspirations? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish by supporting First Global and the First Global Challenge?
Well, we have an industry that is on a accelerated growth path, and so we're going to need thousands and thousands of engineers and technically trained people. And so we hope that and believe that the students here can actually follow a career in STEM. So that's a big part of it for us. But also, First Global has a transformative learning experience. And so getting the kids together in these teams, as Tim just said, not only learning technical skills, but they're learning how to collaborate and how to work together, which are great life skills. And we love the tie into sustainability. That's also a very important part for us at Lam.
Terrific.
So Lam Research brings a unique perspective to STEM as a major player in the semiconductor industry. I'd like to know, what advice would you like to give to aspiring scientists and engineers who would like to work at the cutting edge technology?
Sure. Well, first is, of course, just to dream big. The world has a lot of problems, and as I said last night, I think technology really is the key to solving many of those big issues. And so, it's to think about what it is you'd like to accomplish and then set out to do it. And you see that so much in dealing with these students. At Lam, we employ just about every type of engineer. And so regardless of whether your interest is in software engineering or mechanical engineering or chemical engineering, you have the ability to participate and really help solve in this team environment these big problems in the world.
And is there any other type of message that you'd want to send out for viewers from across the globe, frankly, that are tuning in and watching this right now about Lam Research's work, its charitable initiatives, its mission? I know that yesterday I loved the verbiage that you had used and that the company uses, which is "let's prove it." Right? I would love to know where that originated from, how that mission lives out in every day of Lam Research, and how you operate.
My boss is telling me, he's looking over at me, so I'll take the first step.
Sure.
Gotcha.
So when I joined Lam, I think what was most impressive to me was the credibility the company had in solving problems with their customers. And so as we were thinking about how we're going to amplify our reputation, we really landed on the theme of "let's prove it," is that we are committed to working to solve the problems until we can actually deliver the answer. So we have a very big aspirational goal to prove every complex, challenge can be solved.
I think it's just the nature of science in general, is that you come up with a theory, but in the end, until you've executed it in practice, you haven't proven that theory. And so really our motto inside our company is talk is cheap,
like it.
But the data and the result is really what matters and has impact.
I think I had referenced you can talk the talk, but walking the walk is something categorically different, and I'm so pleased and certainly blessed, as we are at First Global, to know that you're doing just that. So thank you so much for all the support you've given us over time, and we certainly know that when we talk about credibility, this event has built its credibility over the past 7 years. We're excited to see where it goes, and certainly with your support, that's not a small thing.
And Tim, talking about results, I mean, this isn't the first initiative that you guys have supported in regards to pushing STEM towards the youth and just the world in general. I'd like to know, have you seen any changes on just the world in general, or the engineers that come working to you as a result from the programs that you guys support?
I think we see a more well-rounded individual. We are very big on diversity and inclusion. And so I think that the engineers and the employees that come are really centered in a purpose, right? They really want to not only contribute to the company, but they want to contribute to the world. And we want to make sure that we're there to support our employees to do just that.
Okay.
I would just add, actually, one of the big initiatives we've had is to broaden the reach of engineering. And you see that here. Over the last number of years, we've seen a far greater participation of women in STEM, and also of underrepresented minorities in STEM in the United States and elsewhere. And so, technology and the kinds of careers that get created in this business, they're very rewarding. And we really want to make sure that people from every walk of life have an opportunity to pursue that if that's their interest. And I think we have seen progress on that front in the number of years as a result of programs like FIRST and also GEM and other programs throughout the world.
No, it's certainly a two-way street. I would argue, as a teacher myself, what I try to preach to my students is anything that's worth working towards is a work in progress. And I suspect that you're doing the same thing at Lam Research, right? It's been growing over time. Your scope, your reach has also grown over time, as has this competition. What is the next step for you all?
Well, we are really looking forward to solving the world's most complex challenges. We look at the acceleration of technology, the advancement of AI, the advancement of 5G. Chips are in everything, that we see in our everyday lives, as well as, in space, in NASA. So I think that we want to continue to have the best workforce that can actually contribute to solving these challenges. And as the industry continues to grow, we want to make sure that there's resiliency, right, in the solutions that can make the world a better place.
And you're talking about looking at all different kinds of engineers, right? And that, to me, is such an important piece, because we all have such differences, but yet we can all contribute. What are some of the intangibles that you look for in the employees that you hire? What are some of, not the skill sets necessarily, but those intangibles, those character pieces? What do you look for?
I think you just have to look at the core values of Lam Research, and it spells it out. We focus on things like achievement, teamwork, collaboration, honesty and integrity. These are things that make you a great employee in a tech company, and those are the kinds of things that really are core to the right type of employee.
And I would also say curiosity, right? I think that one of the secrets to evolving is to maintain that curiosity and make sure that you're asking questions. So we want our employees to be inquisitive. We want them to be problem solvers. We want them to understand that they are empowered to take the lead and to actually solve, and come up with their own ideas. So it is those additional characteristics that we also look for.
Great. Well, thank you again, both of you, and to Lam Research Company for everything you've done for making this event possible. And now, as we're just getting started with our competition, why don't we go take a look at the game Hydrogen Horizons highlights for the importance of the renewable energy solutions in relation to addressing climate change. This game has a specific focus on hydrogen as a clean energy carrier. Let's go take a look at the video.
Introducing the official game of the 2023 First Global Challenge, Hydrogen Horizons. In this game, 2 3-team regional alliances work independently to produce, store, transport, and convert hydrogen into other useful forms of energy before coming together as a global alliance to demonstrate each nation's proficiency in hydrogen technologies. Robots start the match lined up against the guardrail next to their corresponding alliance station. 144 green hydrogen atoms and 72 blue oxygen atoms are randomly pre-positioned in the central reservoir in the form of water, or H2O. The match begins when the announcer says, "Go!" For the first 2 minutes of the match, each regional alliance works to extract water from the reservoir, and then use energy to break the bonds that hold the hydrogen and oxygen atoms together. Robots can perform the separation, or teams can use the electrolyzers to sort the atoms by size. Robots proceed to store hydrogen, an energy carrier, in the mobile hydrogen tanks, and oxygen in the corner oxygen accumulators. Human players can assist with storing oxygen only. If an oxygen atom accidentally enters the hydrogen tank, human players may remove the stray atom. When each regional alliance decides their hydrogen tank is filled, they transport the hydrogen tank to align it under the oxygen accumulator. Once the hydrogen has been transported, the energy it carries can be converted into a different usable form. At any time during the last 30 seconds of the match, a regional alliance can press a button to initiate the conversion process, releasing the oxygen so that it may fall into the hydrogen tank to earn a conversion multiplier. This is applied to the total sum of hydrogen and oxygen atoms in the hydrogen tank at the end of the match. Partial alignment represents the combustion of hydrogen to produce heat, which has reduced efficiency due to combustion heat losses. Full alignment represents the combination of hydrogen and oxygen in a fuel cell to produce electricity, which is the most efficient method of conversion. During the final 30 seconds of the match, the regional alliances combine into a single global alliance to position their robots on the hydrogen hub, demonstrating each nation's technical ability to use hydrogen as an energy carrier. A robot fully supported by the reservoir boundary, or the playing field surface within the reservoir boundary, demonstrates intermediate proficiency, while a robot fully supported by the hydrogen hub structure demonstrates expert proficiency. All teams on the Global Alliance earn the total sum of all robots positioned on the hydrogen hub. The Global Alliance earns a cooperation bonus if 5 or more robots are fully supported by the hydrogen hub structure at the end of the match, celebrating the mutual benefit when the majority of nations are proficient in hydrogen technologies. The final score is the sum of hydrogen and oxygen points, multiplied by the conversion multiplier, plus proficiency points and cooperation bonus points. The regional alliance with the highest score wins the match.
We're talking about the final scores, but in reality, we got to get you down to our first games down on the field in only a few seconds. There are 5 fields here in Singapore Expo. All of the camera views that you're going to see are on field 5 specifically, and we start this first game up in 3, 2, 1. Let's go!
Welcome everyone to our first official match here in First Global Challenge Singapore 2023. We're starting to see Hydrogen Horizon. The robots are going into what we call the reservoir to get access to that H2O, hydrogen and oxygen atoms.
And though this is the first of many different contests you're going to see in Singapore Expo over the next few days, we do need to give you a little bit of an explanation for the ticker tape you see at the bottom. Again, there are going to be 2 alliances, each of which has 3 different countries in it. So we're talking about language barriers, cultural barriers, yet the rules of the game are the same and apply to all. So we've got Team Uzbekistan, the United Arab Emirates, and Team Bangladesh squaring off against Team Gabon, Team Liberia, and Team Colombia.
The excitement has just begun. We can already see teams from what looks to be the Blue Alliance trying to deposit some oxygen. We can see teams from the Red Alliance also pushing through. The excitement is just the beginning of it.
I was going to say, I think I'd want to get an instant replay of that from Team Colombia in particular. We'll see if we can get it to you after this match. You're going to see some different strategies in trying to not only acquire some of that hydrogen and oxygen in those two different particles, but then different methods of storage as well. So each of these robots has different capabilities. With Colombia, we just saw a basket that was working its way up. That's a fundamental part of this game that you'll probably see unfold here.
We're going to see many different mechanisms. The strategies that each team takes towards the match is going to be different. We're going to be focusing on the produce, the storage, transport, and conversion of hydrogen to turn into different ways of energy. We're down to the last minute of our first match.
I was going to say, it looks like these teams are working really hard and feverishly in the last minute. You just saw some of those particles unloaded into what is called our electrolyzer. Now it's going to be filtering those particles based on size, and then the human players are going to be trying to huck those oxygen particles in particular all the way across the field to acquire some extra points.
Reaching our 30-second mark. You can hear the alarm right behind us. And just for everyone at home to understand, this is the 30 seconds where the regional alliances actually join together into one global alliance to show how they all can work together in order to execute the hydrogen power the best.
You're seeing the split screen on the bottom. You see both alliances. You see all of these students working hard with one another, pointing, trying to will their robots to certain parts of the field. Everyone is waiting on these last few seconds, and endgame is in play.
And Tim, that's our first match here on the stream for First Global Challenge 2023 Hydrogen Horizons. For everyone back home, as we saw in the video, the scores of the game are actually quite complex, so it's going to take a while until we have a final result. What we saw on the screen is just a tentative score before we have our scorekeepers, our amazing referees and volunteers having to get that final score up.
Now, even though Marlene and myself are up in the booth, one thing that we love viewing, at least on our monitors up here, is how every single team, after a 2.5-minute contest, is not just celebrating with one another, but reflecting. I feel like that's part of the scientific process, looking at what worked, what didn't work, how you can reevaluate, reassess, and then achieve even greater. And I suspect that in the future rounds that all of these teams are going to play in, they're going to learn something from this first game.
Yes, Tim. I mean, they've been working for this for months. I mean, this is the first match. This is like the beginning of what they've been working for so hard. It looks like we have some videos, repetitions here in our telestrator. Maybe we can get to show you guys some of that close-up videos and explain what's going on in the game with a little bit more detail.
So what we're talking about right now with Team Colombia, and it actually happened a few times during the match, their robot has the capacity to lift that basket, as you can see from those retractable arms. You're going to see some robots trying to work those particles up into the air, and the reason why is because later on they're going to try to deposit those particles into that oxygen accumulator to get some of those points. So these teams are showing different abilities, different capacities with their robots to be able to achieve, and Colombia was just doing that just now.
It looks like we're about to see results. I'm waiting. Yep, we have the results on score. Congratulations to the Red Alliance. And let's go down to the field with Blair to talk to one of the winning team. What we're seeing on the screen
Each team that's playing here today has a team of their own back at home that has supported them every single step of the way. Families, friends, community members, and fans alike have not only pushed their teams to be their best, but have lifted them up to tackle the challenges that have come along with making it to the competition field. So let's take a look at some of the many messages of support we've received from around the world in support of the teams that are here with us today.
أنا من لبنان وبدعم فريق الأمل تيم هوب.
وفقين فريق سوريا.
I wish all the best to Team Turkmenistan in first global challenge in Singapore. Good luck, guys.
You will win this competition!
You guys are just getting better and better with each new first global challenge competition, and this inspires me so much.
Those votes of confidence and support are definitely modeled and mirrored by us up here in the booth, and certainly those who are in attendance. But there are scores of people back home who are watching and backing their teams from abroad. We're glad to have them with us. In a few seconds, we're going to get down to Field 5 again. We're already 6 games into this competition, so even though you've seen one, again, there are 5 different fields of play happening. It's incredible to watch from up here.
It's amazing. Don't miss any of the matches. It looks like we're about to start this match in 3, 2, 1, and let's go.
On the Red Alliance, we have Team Sri Lanka with Team Belize and Team Armenia. They are competing with, at least for the first 2 minutes, and then cooperating with, on the other side in the Blue Alliance, Team Guyana, Team Sierra Leone, and Team Denmark.
We're already starting to see different strategies from what we saw on the last match. So the teams are actually trying to acquire oxygen and hydrogen atoms. They can split it up on themselves, or they can take them all the way into the electrolyzer to divide them, as we can see a team from the Red Alliance. I can't really get a look at the flag, trying to separate those atoms of hydrogen and oxygen by size.
Right now, you're looking at in the foreground Team Denmark, but we're also going to get a replay right now of those balls right now from the Red Alliance in particular. They're getting thrown from that electrolyzer over to that oxygen accumulator. That team's done a great job, especially because with the backboard, with the bounciness of some of those balls, it's incredibly hard for it to land. But again, each one of those is going to be worth 1 point. We'll see if alignment can come in to the equation later on.
It's not an easy task. You know, they have what I believe is 144 hydrogen balls and 77 oxygen balls, but for everyone back home, they're different sizes. So it's quite complicated being able to pick up those balls. We're seeing one of the teams from the Blue Alliance trying to deposit some balls on the hydrogen tank. This is where they're going to be stored before they're transported and converted later on.
Feel like I've taken 1 breath, and we've only got a minute left of play in this game alone. So again, I can assure you at home, the action is constant. We've got another piece of action actually happening in the top left corner of your screen. We'll see if we can get another replay of that. But right now, it looks like Team Sierra Leone is doing an exceptional job at trying to push that hydrogen storage tank effectively over by the oxygen accumulator. We'll see if they can get perfect alignment there. Different accumulated points work based on the amount of alignment that happens.
We're reaching those last 30 seconds of the match once again. And this is where I like to see the strategies of when the teams try to gather back up either on the reservoir boundary or hang up on the hydrogen hub, or just focus on getting that alignment and converting the hydrogen and oxygen into energy.
Now the scores are going to be auto-updating at the very bottom center portion of your screen, but after the actual clock has tolled 0, trust me, the job is not done. There are still going to be scores that are being accumulated, and that includes, right now, a potential cooperation bonus, but we'll talk about that later on. Applauses all around. Again, you see that split screen at the bottom. After that 2.5 minutes, one thing you also will see, again, is that celebration across those countries' borders and barriers. That's what the first global competition here truly is all about. And the next alliance for each of those 3 teams is going to look very different.
It's going to be incredibly difficult for the teams as well, trying to adjust to working with different countries, different robots, different languages. But that's what this is about. It's about unity. It's about being able to work with each other and to trying to break those barriers that we're sort of thought outside in the world, but there's no need to follow.
I was going to say they're holding their breaths, rightfully so. We're waiting for that all-important score of this first match. But again, with all the ranking matches each of these teams will compete and participate in, we're going to be cumulatively adding those points over time. So even if a team, for example, struggles in this first round of action, that by no means excludes them from some of the playoff matches in the later days of this competition.
Definitely not at all. You know, the scores that they get throughout the competition are going to be averaged up. And First Global kind of gives them a bout of confidence where the lowest score that they get towards the competition is not going to be counted inside their average. Because everyone has a chance to, you know, make a mistake and then just bounce back up from it to prove themselves that they're better than, you know, that kind of maybe not as good match. And they're going to try to do their best in all of them.
So we're going to get you to an instant replay here in a second. I apologize. My fat fingers up here are trying to manipulate this screen as we speak. One of the pieces that we had mentioned was the projectile component, that human component. So you'll see in a few seconds the Red Alliance in particular trying to get the balls all the way, Oxygen in particular, from that, electrolyzer all the way over to the other side of the pitch. But right now we're going to actually get you down to the field with a field interview with Blair. Blair, take it away.
We are on the field. I'm here with a member of Team Belize. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Sebastian.
Sebastian, you are undefeated. You are one match in and you haven't lost. How does it feel?
It feels really nice, honestly.
So your team had a very specific strategy there in that game. What was the strategy?
Well, when the match started, our strategy was to go to the side of the hydrogen hub and hit all the balls towards our alliance members so that they can then collect the hydrogen and oxygen balls to be able to get ahead of us.
So a little bit of hurting and then some collecting. And your human player was pretty good too, right? You were hitting a lot of shots. How much practice did that take?
Well, actually, we perfected this around since we started, since the challenge came out, we started practicing with our human players and they all did really well. So we have 3 different human players and they're ready for anything.
How many practice matches did you get in this morning?
Well, actually, we did 1 practice match this morning.
So 1 practice match, 1 qualification match, a ranking match, and you're undefeated. All right, congratulations and good luck the rest of the competition.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
All right, go Belize. And back to the booth with Tim and Marlena.
I love being able to hear from the students who have just won a match. They're on top of the world and they're going to stay there throughout the weekend. But the next team that we're going to hear about is a dynamic and spirited group of students driven by a collective passion for innovation and sustainability. With a resolute commitment to equality, environment protection, and inclusivity, the team unites and addresses pressing global challenges and advocates for a brighter, cleaner future. Together, they hope to forge a path towards a brighter, cleaner future and more equitable future for all. Let's learn more about Team Granada.
Welcome to Hydrogen Horizons, unveiling Grenada's robotic innovations. Let's meet Team Grenada.
The theme Hydrogen Horizons has reminded us of Grenada's deep-rooted connection with nature and the importance of protecting our environment.
Just like our ancestors who lived in harmony with the land, we're using technology to create a sustainable future.
Our robots are the embodiment of the commitment of Grenada's clean energy and remaining at the top of the World Index.
Our robots represent the synergy between our deep heritage and our commitment to innovative solutions.
By harnessing the power of hydrogen, we're reducing our carbon footprint and paving the way for a more sustainable Grenada.
This is Team Grenada. Singapore, here we come.
We're going to be getting down to the field to see Team Grenada competing in just a second. They actually wrote to us and said they are here to forge a path forward for us all. We're going to see how they forge through this first round of competition. We're going to get you down to the field in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
I love the start of that beginning siren that lets us know that the match and the action are just beginning. We can see teams for both alliances making their way into their reservoir when we can have water or H2O that are actually split in atoms of hydrogen and oxygen.
We've got Mozambique, the Solomon Islands, and Hong Kong, China on the Red Alliance. And the other regional alliance we have, like we just saw in that brief video, Team Grenada, Côte d'Ivoire, and then Team Senegal. So we're excited to see them start their field of play today.
We're seeing the team Hong Kong, China for the Red Alliance, pushing that hydrogen tank right next to the regional zone. It's going to be interesting to see what they're trying to get with that move.
And Marlene, you were telling me about the intake systems earlier on. We see in particular a lot of those orange, pliable, some seemingly rotating like a pinwheel almost, trying to accrue those particles. I would think that it's not easily achievable to get both sizes of those particles within that robot.
No, so we've been actually talking to some of the teams. Like they've mentioned what a challenge it is to get the intake to get both of those balls. As we mentioned before, both atoms are different sized, so that you kind of need a very complex mechanism to be able to intake both types of atoms into your robot. Some of the teams took their strategies based on that.
And one of those strategies, as we just saw from the Blue Alliance, again, hopefully another instant replay, is the unloading of that basket. You see both blue and green particles. Even though both of them can be thrown into the electrolyzer is going to sort them out. And then again, those blue oxygen particles in particular can be thrown by those human players to their respective corners and oxygen accrual zones.
That's what the game is all about. It's just about picking a strategy, looking at the strengths of your robot and seeing how you can make the most out of them.
Trying to make the most out of the last 30 seconds as well. Once that 30 seconds tolls, if the actual hydrogen basin is underneath that oxygen accumulator, they can press a button at any time to then release whatever oxygen particles are sitting above that hydrogen tank. Again, that is the conversion into a useful form of energy. So you're seeing it right now with that Blue Alliance. We'll see if they can finish it up.
But you know, Tim, it's no easy task. They have to have perfect alignment in order to, you know, make an efficient producement of electricity. Otherwise, they don't get that same conversion multiplier. They don't get the same points. This match is about to end. Let's see if we're able to get a cooperation bonus.
Now you're seeing various levels of support there in that middle circle. Great job to those robots that made it in. It's going to be 5 points per robot for the alliances that are not necessarily fully supported but are within the confines of that circle. Then you're going to have 10 points per robot if it can instead be fully supported by that bar. And again, that's going to be reflective of the, quote, proficiency of that nation in their hydrogen conversion.
And I love the fact that from those 30 seconds, you know what we were talking about, the conversion, actually both alliances get the points from all 6 robots that are able to get any of those conversion points. Talk about not needing a loser in order to have winners, as Dean mentioned yesterday on our opening ceremony.
So we'll get the instant replay up for you in a second. We want to show you that intake system that we were referring to earlier. A lot of different teams are going to play this game somewhat differently. Some are going to funnel them in. Some have extracting arms that try to corral these balls in. Others are going to have, again, that kind of pinwheel style structure that really funnels anything that it runs over inside of that robot.
And whichever mechanism they have is going to define the way that they play the game. Because it's not going to be the same team if you can intake the balls, whatever you are, if you have to push them around, if you have to make your way all the way through the electrolyzer, or if you're able to have, you know, human players that are dependable.
And in terms of dependability, again, we're thinking about the team at First Global. This process has been an ongoing one, and yet we're dependably here in front of you for the next 3 days, bringing in a non-stop action here. Marlene, what do you feel like you've seen so far in this building?
I've seen everything. I've seen excitement, I've seen nerves, I've seen passion just in general from teams that are excited to be here, to get the opportunity to represent their countries, to get that sort of recognition that some teams don't really get on a day-to-day on the STEM universe.
Well, and I would argue it's not just the students either, or the mentors. It's the adults as well that are outside looking in. We just had, you know, Tim and Stacy from Lam Research coming in, and you could just see on their faces the unbridled joy that they experience in just being present here and with a purpose. It's something I think everybody feels in some way, shape, or form, and it's one of the many reasons why we try to come back every year. It's really enjoyable to just be a part of the experience.
It's unlike any other event that I've ever been to. And it's only been, 6 years since we've had the First Global around? And I love that we can already see the legacy that it's created just overall. Like right now, you can see the students just celebrating with the nerves, the anxiousness of having to want to see how they did on the match. But it's not only the students, it's actually the alumni that have stuck with us and have now turned into either volunteers or mentors. Some are even staff now. Just us who were able to participate at one, and we've been here ever since.
And it's good to see some familiar faces every year, right? As that experience for them continues to evolve, they keep on coming back. But yet we bring new people in every single year as well. And right now we got some new scores for you. So congrats to Team Sri Lanka, Team Belize, and Team Armenia picking up the W in their first round. Not by a margin that's incredibly large, but thankfully no penalties for either alliance as well. So good job to both alliances. Good job to everybody. Again, you're winners just by naturally being here without question. So right now we have our next team video ready to roll for you. And Team Slovakia consists of the winners of their national qualifiers tournament. They're very excited at some point to take part in this competition. I think we're actually going to have them up in the next round because it's an opportunity for them to learn more about robotics, modern technologies, and then STEM-related fields. They're a team of 8 people with different minds, different abilities, but they all come together with that one central purpose. You see it in every single game that we've had thus far. And to find solutions to problems today, that's the very malleable way and flexible way in which we approach things. And the universal language of science and technology is what we also try to employ. So hopefully we'll get you to that video in a couple of seconds. But Team Slovakia, we'll actually get that intro video to you right now.
We are all on one ship in one team. This is our opportunity to unite and solve problems much greater than each one of us could ever manage on their own.
Never give up. Trying instead of doing nothing is always better, even in a seemingly hopeless situation.
Always keep moving forward, try new things, and consider new horizons. Take every opportunity you get and transform it creatively.
We love being able to see into those teams and what they're doing from their videos. But right now we have Melissa back in the pits, ready to show us what the kids are doing on the back. Melissa, take it away.
Hi, I'm here with Team South Sudan. Hi, how's it going? How has your first global been so far?
My first global to Singapore has been so nice. We enjoyed the way, but it has been a long journey. And we are very excited to represent our country in Singapore.
Absolutely. Have you guys gotten the chance to get your robot out to the field yet?
Not yet, but we are the next team to go to the field.
Awesome. Okay, so what's like your favorite aspect about your robot? What's like a strategy you have going into the matches?
Actually, we've gained a lot of knowledge in STEM power, and we just joined the life of youth in South Sudan, and we wish to continue and go ahead through STEM.
Awesome. I saw that you guys were like talking with some students from other teams and stuff. How has the collaboration with other students been?
We collaborated very well, and they help us in difficulties, and we are really happy. So we collaborated with every team which is here.
Awesome. That's what First Global is all about. We're here to like be building connections, building robots, and establishing the next generation of STEM leaders around the world. Okay, last question. Have you had any really good food here since you've been in Singapore?
Yeah, I enjoyed a lot of foods, drinks, and we are very happy in the hotel, swimming and doing all enjoy things.
Love it. That's what we're doing. Collaborators on the field, off the field, in the pool. That's what it's all about. Thank you so much, South Sudan. Good luck and enjoy First Global.
Thank you.
Back to the booth.
Thank you, Melissa. One of our next teams, Team Guyana, is a cohort of tech-savvy teenagers who are igniting the passion for innovation in the next generation of STEM enthusiasts. The team likes to share their passion through endeavors such as outreach programs, educational camps, and other fun activities organized by the STEM Guyana organization. Let's learn more about the team that says, quote, "We're not just building robots, we're building a better future."
Hi, I'm Ariel Taylor.
Hi, I'm Sahai Holder. Hi, I'm Zaria Holder.
Hi, I'm Italy Tanchang.
Hi, my name is Atish McCart.
And we are Team Guyana Robotics.
I'm excited to be a part of this because it allows me to network with people from around the world, also improving on my engineering skills and soft skills.
I'm going to use what I learned in First Global to help make a difference in the world.
STEM is important because it not only allows us to solve and find solutions for real-world problems, but it also allows us to do so while not just focusing on engineering and constructing, but developing our soft skills such as innovation, creativity, and critical thinking.
Encourage other children like myself who are a bit introverted to become a part of STEM, the STEM sector in Guyana.
It's very important to me since it significantly improves my public speaking, researching, and interpersonal skills, which I am very fond of.
Tim, I personally love seeing a team of strong, independent girls who are stemming like girls. That's the term that we like to use here. But it looks like we're almost ready for our match number 15. Time flies. If you have a chance, stick with us because you never know what's going to happen next. We're almost ready for our match number 15. The teams are ready, the crowd is ready, and it looks like we're going to be starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Right now in the Red Regional Alliance, we have Papua New Guinea along with Turkmenistan and Team New Zealand. We've got them squaring off against Team Lesotho, Team Angola, and Team Canada.
You can see the excitement, the nerves, the concentration of the drive teams that are actually down on the Alliance stations. They're concentrating, they're doing their best to drive their robots to get all the points possible.
Now, in the middle of that field, we're looking at that reservoir. There are actually, I would say, tight spaces for each of these robots to navigate. So even though you see a couple hundred of those game pieces that are randomly pre-assorted at the beginning of every game, I mean, it's just absolute chaos and pandemonium in that center circle.
It really is, and not only in the inner circle, actually in the entire field. You know, these teams have had the chance to practice with their robots maybe back at school, back at home, yesterday. But this is the first time that they're playing in an actual field, and with other 6 robots that are on the field trying to do the exact same goal. It's no easy task.
We had a camera view a couple seconds ago, and right now, actually, at the bottom of the Red Alliance's electrolyzer. Now, there are partitions in the top of that you can see that are going to separate the sized particles between that oxygen molecule. So you got the smaller hydrogens in green, the larger oxygen, singular, in blue. Once those have been pre-sorted and pre-assembled, teams have the ability to throw them all the way across the field into those oxygen accumulators. That's part of the fun of this game, too.
It's always fun having a human player element because, you know, the human element is always going to be around in technology.
And in terms of the human element of this game, you can see the emotion on all of their faces. Faces contorting in different ways, finger pointing, yelling, screaming, all positive, however. Great job, it looks like, by Team Canada just there unloading some of those particles in that electrolyzer like we had alluded to earlier on.
I also want to give a shout out to Team New Zealand. If you've been able to see the art that they have painted on their robot, make sure to do so. They have Mother Earth and Father Sky, I think it is. It's just a beautiful work of art.
And I was going to say, also nicknamed the Kiwis for the flightless bird that they are so well known for. But trust me, they are taking flight out here in Singapore Expo and in this arena, especially over the last 15 seconds. It's going to pick up pace-wise and become quite frenetic in there.
We can see some of the team trying to push that hydrogen tank while others are focusing on getting into that reservoir boundary for the competition bonus.
Again, even though that final buzzer sounds, those scores at the bottom are in no shape or form the final score. These, I was going to say, referees come out onto the field after every single contest. They sweep it clean, they tabulate all the points, they cross-reference, they cross-check. There are multiple eyes and ears that are on that set of data. Once they've all conferred with one another, they give us that final score up here in the booth, and we report back to you. But there are a lot of moving pieces here, Marlene.
A lot of moving pieces, and also in the score, you know, we have the hydrogen points, the oxygen points. Those are multiplied with the conversion multiplier, added up to the some robot proficiency points, added up to the competition bonus. The scores are just as complex as the game and just the challenge that we're trying to fight against in general.
Now, thankfully, these teams have been given not just the rules, but largely their kits well ahead of time in order to assemble them. But not every team necessarily gets them at the exact same time. And that's part of the complexities that each of these teams focuses on as they try to prepare for this competition. Not everybody is necessarily on the same equal playing field, but what you do love to see is that collaboration. You see teams helping one another when you walk into those pits. That's the type of spirit that First Global is all about, and you see it here on a daily basis. It's exceptional.
Yes, I love hearing about one of the teams. I'm going to get you the name for the country afterwards, but right now I just want to focus on the fact that for 3 years in a row in the past, they weren't able to receive the robot here in the first global competition and built it just days before. And now, this year, they were able to get it, and they were offering help to other countries that were in a similar situation from the experience that they previously had.
Sorry, Marlene. I was going to say we have the official scores that are in here. So a lower scoring affair as a generalization, but congratulations to the Red Alliance of Papua New Guinea, Team Turkmenistan, and Team New Zealand. Right now, we're going to take it down to a field interview. I believe Blair is locked and loaded. Blair, take it away.
Thanks, Tim. I'm down on the field. A team member from Papua New Guinea. What's your name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan, congratulations, the first victory. How much did you practice with that robot before you actually got into a match?
Practically for me and my team, we didn't practice as much. It was just about 1 or 2 hours before the match, but everything worked out, and I'm so thrilled it went our way.
2 hours of practice, and then you won your first match. What was the team's strategy?
Well, the team strategy, basically, I'd say big thanks to my alliance. They helped us out with the oxygen since we couldn't get the oxygens in. And yeah, big thanks to our shooters. They did a really good job shooting the oxygens in the tank.
Yeah, Marlena was mentioning that human players are a big aspect of the game. How much did your human player practice?
Well, our human player practiced with me. We both practiced at the same time, 2 hours.
2 hours of practice for human player, 2 hours for the drivers. What do you think about this competition? Have you been to a First Global before?
For me personally, no, but I think it's really life-changing for us young people, especially for children my age. We come and learn a lot of different things, different designs, and different ways to combat global warming in this beautiful world we live in.
So let's talk strategy for that alliance. Did you meet with your team partners beforehand to talk strategy?
Yeah, our alliance came over and we had a small talk, but...
All right, well, good luck in your next matches. It's a long competition, but right now you're undefeated. Good luck. And back to the booth.
It's great to get, some of the insight from the teams that have just gotten their first win of the competition. I'm sure it's not going to be the only one that they get.
No, I was going to say we have quite a few teams that are still yet to compete. The next one is actually going to be Team Tonga. They're representing the Kingdom of Tonga, the only Polynesian sovereign state in the South Pacific, and one that dates back over 3,000 years. Though only a dot on the world map, they're inspired by the message that politics divides while science unites. Together, their motto is, quote, "Together, everyone achieves more." So let's learn more about Team Tonga. Their team wasn't yet here for the opening ceremony, but made it in late last night.
Maloa Lele, welcome to the Kingdom of Tonga. Tonga is a tiny island in the South Pacific with a population of about 100,000 people and land area of 748 square kilometers. We're the last remaining indigenous monarchy in the Pacific, and we're also known as the Friendly Islands. I am Julia Cavafolau.
I am Lamnia Luau.
I am Anthony Tupou.
I'm Josepho Tupou.
I am David Asikul.
I'm Lofen Tupou.
I am Mr. Osayashi Lolohea.
Team Tonga consists of 7 people, 5 students and 2 teachers. Us students are all new this year and we hope to carry on the legacy of last year's team.
I always dream of joining the robotic team one day, inspired by my love of science and technology. And I hope to inspire my fellow sisters that you can do it too.
My home island is one of the most vulnerable islands to climate change and sea level rise. I see this as one of the many ways I could help save my home.
The University of the South Pacific Tonga campus is the focal point for the first global challenge here in the Kingdom. We make sure that we prepare our kids well, not only for the challenges, but also to keeping their dreams alive.
And we are Team Tonga!
It's great being able to see a little bit more into their culture, a little bit more into their journey, and I'm very excited to see the journey of Team Tonga as they go into the first match that they're going to be able to play in this competition. It's going to be match number 18, and we're going to be starting in, I think it's almost, 3, 2, 1, and let's go!
Charging on to the center of the pitch, we have from the Red Regional Alliance, Finland, Namibia, and Chile. And they are competing alongside Team Ghana, Team Republic of China, and Tonga. Again, Tonga is a little tardy late to the party, but they are now here. They're finally with us. We're so grateful that they joined us again. 191 nations here in attendance at the First Global Challenge 2023.
Team, while you were giving us that introduction, we were able to see Team Namibia actually pushing that hydrogen tank into what it appeared to be the oxygen accumulator pretty early in the game. I think that's got to be a strategy that we're going to have to see how it plays out for them.
Yeah, I was going to say, and we'll be able to point out those spots on the field shortly. Right now, you're seeing that dump mechanism with those hydrogen particles. It looked like the Blue Alliance was dumping each one of those into their hydrogen bin as well. Once they are pushed into those corners in the top left and top right components of your screen, they can then unload some of those oxygen particles into that hydrogen, again, talking about converting that energy into a useful form.
And just as a small fun fact, it's actually important that the teams are careful of only dropping hydrogen inside the hydrogen tank. If they want to do some of that atom splitting, they have to go all the way to the electrolyzer to divide them. Otherwise, they would have to push the hydrogen tank all the way to the regional zone and have the human players remove the oxygen atoms from the top.
And unlike some of the games of past where you see those particles kind of strewn about the floor like clothes in my room back in the day, right now you're looking at all of them pretty much consolidated still in the middle of that park. So we'll see if that space constraint actually comes into consideration in the last 30 seconds, because all those robots are going to try to make their way back in.
And it seems like we haven't really talked about that challenge, but getting those atoms outside of a reservoir boundary is no easy task of itself.
And right now, again, you see those hydrogen particles getting dropped right into that tank. Hopefully they can get that tank over to that back left and back right corner in the last 30. It looks like it's happening right now. We'll see if they can squeeze around.
And we're going to see if they're able to align and drop those oxygen atoms right into the hydrogen tank.
Terrific job by Ghana, I think.
I want to see if we're going to be able to see some teams. It looks like they're trying to be completely held up from the hydrogen hub and the structure of metal being hung up. It's going to give them expert proficiency in conversion.
Now Ghana, you see them trying to get all the way around to the other side of the field. That's the only place where they can actually get in to that central reservoir, and it does look like they got those 5 bonus points. So great job to Ghana in particular in that last 20 seconds.
I think they were able to get, 4 robots inside the reservoir boundary. We're going to have to see what our referees and scorekeepers have to determine about it. But just as a reminder, over the last 30 seconds, the 2 regional alliances actually combined into 1 global alliance, and those points are going to be added up for both alliances and the 6 teams participating.
6 teams participating in hundreds of games coming forward to you at home. So stick with us this whole way. We appreciate you being with us right now.
We're going to have to take a closer look into one of the videos that we have here on our Telestrator. I want to show you guys at home how some of those intake systems and the robots work for us. Let's see if we can get that Telestrator up on the screen. Yep, there it is. So what you're seeing here right now, I'm going to try to draw it for you. Forgive my scribbles, but what we're seeing here is a type of intake mechanism that team, I believe it was Team Ghana, was able to design in order to acquire some of those oxygen and hydrogen balls into the robot. It's quite a feat, quite a challenge. We're also seeing another team's, I believe it's Team Namibia's intake. They've taken a different route, but it's all under the same goal of getting those atoms into the robot and being able to deposit them where they're supposed to go.
You're hearing those cheers in the background, rightfully so. A very hard-fought 2.5 minutes. There are applauses coming all around us right now, and I believe we're going to be taking it down to the pits with Melissa in just a few seconds. Melissa, are you ready for us? Oh, we needed those scores up first. Apologies, I was jumping the gun. Great job to Ghana, People's Republic of China, and Team Tonga coming out with the W in that round.
I mean, 84 points in what looks like to be their first match, I believe, in the competition. So it looks like we're only going to be hyping it up from now.
And right now, we actually have our interview that's ready. Melissa, take it away.
Hi, I'm down here with Team Dominican Republic. How are you doing?
We're doing great.
You said you guys already had a match. How was that with the robot?
I was nervous. I was the shooter, but we had a problem. It's not a problem at all, but a ball was in the base of the robot, but good. We had 40 points.
Awesome.
Nice. I would like to be there again.
Awesome. Okay, so do you have any changes to the strategy that you'll make for your next upcoming match?
I don't think so. We are fine with that.
Good. And then, is this your first global?
Yes.
So what's been like a highlight so far?
What?
A highlight, like a favorite part.
I think that experience of Singapore and all the people here and the music, the different cultures, and that's
awesome. Well, good luck to Team Dominican Republic, and good luck with your next matches. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Melissa. Much appreciated. In a couple of seconds, we'll get our next team video up and running for you. But again, those replays that we just showed you, we'll try to bring to you throughout the competition. I was going to say, I myself am getting practice with it up here. So please stick with us through it. We're trying to be flexible. We're trying to live the mission of First Global by learning on the fly. So again, thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah, and it's not just the teams and the students that are just trying to learn. There's also volunteers, there's staff, there's parents, there's teachers. It's just a full-on experience of people trying to do their best.
So we're going to be getting down to field match number 21 in just a few seconds. It looks like we're actually going to be skipping one of those team videos in order to make it work. A lot of moving pieces at play. All the teams are assembled right now. You see them on the left and right sides of the screen, and we're going to get going here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
We're starting those 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the matches. We have what looks like to be 2, 3, maybe 4 robots getting into the reservoir, trying to gain access to both hydrogen and oxygen atoms. We're on match number 21, and on the Red Alliance, we have Team Morocco, Team Indonesia, and Team Laos Democratic Republic. As for the Blue Alliance, we have Team Guinea-Bissau, Team Luxembourg, and Team Haiti.
Right now, I believe you're seeing Luxembourg in particular with that intake system that we had referenced earlier on, trying to accrue as many of those particles as possible and then frenetically rush them over, hopefully, to those electrolyzers. Right now, like I said, in that robot, you're seeing both green and blue. We'll get you a replay in a second, but that robot, even if it can intake both of those particles, they end up needing to be separated in this process. This game is talking about not just producing, but storing, transporting, and then converting. So right now, that process is also happening with those green hydrogen.
The match, it's no easy task.
And talking about no easy task, I would say that those hydrogen tanks in particular, they start in the same part of the field you see in the bottom right corner where that red-shaped L is. That's on both sides of the field. Teams can move them as early as they would like, and so what you're starting to see are teams starting to push them towards, again, those oxygen accumulators, hopefully to make it a little bit easier in that process once those particles are dumped inside to push it into that corner.
It's all strategy. I mean, the teams know what they want to do, and I want to point out how difficult it must be, because it's not only determining a strategy for themselves, it's determining a strategy in an alliance that they haven't worked with, that it's from a different country that maybe speaks a different language. So it's just an extra challenge unto itself.
Now, I was fortunate enough earlier on today, Marlene, during the practice matches, I believe you did as well, kind of walk alongside the game fields just to see all of the action unfold. And it is utter pandemonium. I'm someone who coaches back in the States, and it's pretty loud on the sidelines, but I'm telling you, with all of the people that are around the pitch on all four sides of that square, it is just a cacophony of noise. I would actually argue more of like a symphony because it's so beautiful.
We're now seeing Team Indonesia. They were able to deposit some last hydrogen atoms. They're trying to align that hydrogen tank under the oxygen accumulator. Let's see if they're able to drop the oxygen, because the match is now done. And there's nothing else they can do but look at the points that they were able to get.
You can sit and wait. All of those robots were getting close and comfy in that middle circle. We're all getting close and comfy here now. You can see those hugs of absolute adoration. They're excited. We are too. We're glad that you're joining us. I suspect you're going to see a lot more of these types of emotions over the next couple of days here.
This is my favorite side, getting the teams to celebrate. But you know, we still need to see that final result of how the points completely add up. And to all the teams, you know, we're only getting started. This is only our first day of matches, so we're going to want to see how everything plays out as the competition goes along.
You're getting that replay right now. Again, everyone's got different roles and responsibilities on each one of these squads. All these robots on their respective teams also have kind of different jobs. They don't get that much time as an alliance to talk before the actual match itself. But right now you're seeing those hydrogen particles deposited in the top of that hydrogen bin. Teams were trying to then go to the electrolyzers, as you can see on the screen right now. The partitions are separating those two particles so they can throw the oxygen in particular into those corner side accrual zones.
We're only getting started. I can't wait to see what the teams are able to learn through the competition and just improve, you know, how they play, how they are able to get it in the game. But now joining us here in the booth, we have Mariam Gorbea Rami from Team Puerto Rico. She's the director program for Eureka, I believe, in Puerto Rico. It's a program for first LEGO League regional partner in Puerto Rico, and as of this season, they are the first Tech Challenge partner as well. She started as a participant in Eureka's program and graduated to mentoring first LEGO League Challenge team. Like I said, talk about a legacy. Now, as a licensed teacher, she's focused on urban and bilingual education and curriculum development. Mariam works with Eureka to expand access to STEM opportunities in Puerto Rico in linguistically and culturally sustaining ways.
I was going to say congrats to that Red Alliance. You can see those scores from the previous match on the left side of the screen, but congratulations as well to Puerto Rico. They've done an exceptional job over the past few years and now here with us in attendance. So, Mariam, you've stated starting out in college in particular and working in First LEGO League, the acronym being FLL for those at home who are not familiar. In terms of being a challenge mentor, how has it helped you shape the professional that you are today? How so?
Yes, well, one of the things that I love most about FIRST is its approach to leadership and mentorship. I've learned to lead from behind, not from in front. And part of what our job as mentors is, it's not to tell teams what to do, but guide them in discovering the answer and solutions to problems on its own. And that's an incredibly important skill that as teachers, as educators, as leaders is really important, because we don't always have the answers ourselves. But if we know how to guide people into working together and collaborating to find the answers on their own, that is what true leadership and success is.
I love that you give your students the opportunity to kind of find their way. And you know, I heard that your goal is to launch First Tech Challenge in Puerto Rico this year. Can you tell us how the preparations have gone and what it will look like in the future?
Definitely. Puerto Rico is super excited about everything, but particularly starting First Tech Challenge this year. We've had teams who participated with us in First LEGO League for 11 years now, and so those kids are so ready and excited to now continue that participation in a high school program as well. We are starting this year with 12 teams who are so psyched. 12, yes, in our pilot season. And we have 36 more on standby, ready for season 2. So we're very excited about this potential growth.
I was going to say that's a very good problem to have. And I do have a final question, but before I do, because I'm a fellow teacher, you had said, and I'm going to take this from you if you don't mind, you had said don't lead from the front, lead from the back, or lead from behind. So we are behind you 100% in the work that you do. But lastly, how has it been seeing the students of Team Puerto Rico grow and change during this very first global competition?
It's honestly been something truly beautiful to see how they've gone from being strangers from 3 different schools to arriving in Singapore as a family, going on all of these different adventures together, supporting each other, and getting to know other teams. So I'm just incredibly proud of every single one of them.
I was going to say, and we're exceptionally proud of you as well. Thanks for being up here in the booth. We know it's not easy. You did an exceptional job. In the meantime, Team Trinidad and Tobago are beyond excited to appear yet again at the first Global Challenge, this time in Singapore. Their excitement for this year's competition stems not only into the experience with previous events, but the ability to inspire the youth to follow in our footsteps. With heartfelt honor, the team has willingly taken up the mantle of STEM education because they aspire to inspire the world's youth to believe in themselves. Let's learn more.
Guys, can we do this later? I'm in the middle of something. Fine. Hi, I'm Nikolai Dindial.
My name is Xavier Blanche. My name is Corbin Gatwick.
I'm George Patrick.
My name is Farah Nabi.
My name is Sanjay Amazar.
I'm Philip Raghuba.
My name is Issa Mohammed.
My name is Nicola Turner. And we are First Global Team Trinidad Team.
Education in STEM sees its importance in the solution of the myriad of issues we are unfortunately subjected to face today.
So, to combat such issues and to save our only home, we as a team will come together and proudly take up the mantle.
And it is for this reason we are joining First Global,
where we can train our minds and expand our horizons. As your captain this year, I truly believe that is the closeness and overall willingness of this team that gives us the encouragement.
The Hydrogen Horizons component of this year ignited the flame within all of us.
Maybe yes. Maybe Mars will be colonized in the future. But Mars will never be our home.
Having been gifted this amazing opportunity at First Global, we intend to capitalize upon it to serve as role models and to inspire the youth of tomorrow.
Improving the youth, all while looking towards a better society and having fun along the way. Well, quite simply, it's a chance that no one, especially us, can pass up on.
We owe it to our country and to others as well to be the leaders of tomorrow.
Right now, we are already 1 minute into this match. We've got Team El Salvador against Team Federated States of Micronesia and Team Argentina. They're squaring up against Team Trinidad and Tobago, Team Ecuador, and the Cook Islands.
I love that what we can see on the field seems to be Team Argentina. They're reaching out that sort of basket, I guess we could call it, where they have some of those atoms stored. Let's see if they're going to want to place them in either the hydrogen tank or the electrolyzer as a strategy.
Now, we've only been going here live about an hour, but you can hear the noise in this building starting to elevate. The decibel level is only getting higher. I guarantee you by the playoff matches, by the end of this competition, you might not be able to hear us at all. We just had an exceptional play and deposit of those atoms earlier on. I forget which alliance it was, but hopefully we'll get you that replay in a sec.
We're getting to see almost the last 30 seconds of the match where most part of the strategies are going to be playing out. Some of the teams are going to be heading over to the reservoir boundary to get those cooperation bonus, those energy conversion bonus. And some other teams are going to try to align, as we're seeing for what appears to be the Red Alliance, align the hydrogen tank under the oxygen accumulator in order to convert it into energy.
We don't have many of those robots, frankly, that are in the middle of the pitch, so we'll see if any of that bonus comes into play. They're going to have to really hustle if they want to get any of those extra points. And as that final bell tolls right now, you're seeing 36-5, but I guarantee you that will not be the ultimate score. We've got a lot to tabulate in the meantime.
That's always going to be something similar, for something different, for each match. Each team, each alliance, each robot is its own world. So I'm excited to see how the change is starting to evolve, how the matches start to evolve as the competition goes along.
Being at this kind of event, you can't help but think that our humanity is also going to evolve, right? You look at these teams, the distance that they've all come just to be here from their respective nations, but there is that kind of common and shared struggle that comes with designing this robot, putting a team together, and then having it ultimately perform. And on a stage of this grand level and magnitude, there's got to be a lot that they feel is at stake. And as this replay comes through, you can see it painted on all of their faces.
It's no easy task, especially because we have some teams who had actually no experience on STEM before. We have some teams who have had some experience before, and some who this is their first time participating in a robotics competition, and they're doing their absolute best. They're champions just from what they've accomplished up to this day.
And I know bugs are not something that in the tech world we're very fond or akin to, but if you're here, you can't help but catch the bug and wanting to continue to come back, and we're very pleased to see that from all these squads.
And for those of you who are back at home and aren't able to be with us today, make sure to stick through the videos, stick through the matches, and if you have a chance, go onto our YouTube channel, which is First Global Media, and learn about the teams. We now have the scores for match number 24. Congratulations to Team El Salvador, Team Federated States of Micronesia, and Team Argentina for getting those wins.
Now, it looked like they had a 1.2 times alignment multiplier. We're going to talk more about what that multiplier is over time. It's talking about the efficiency with which that oxygen and hydrogen effectively creates that new fuel in a usable form. So even though they didn't get the largest kind of multiplier, I think that 1.2 has ended up giving them a little bit of an extra kick in that first round.
You know, everything is about collaboration, and talking about collaborative innovation, it drives our breakthroughs. It's something our title sponsor, Lam Research, knows very well, as we heard before. We are so grateful to them for their support that's helping First Global students to continue innovating.
Everywhere you look, there's proof that semiconductors are changing the world. They're enabling new technologies that help save lives, enhance access to education, and shape the future of business and computing. But as semiconductors become increasingly critical to our world, demands continue to grow for them to become smaller, more efficient, and more sophisticated. At Lam Research, we're innovating to meet this demand every day. We create machines that enable modern chip production and push the boundaries of what's possible. We partner with customers to boldly take on the world's biggest challenges while supporting communities and driving greater sustainability. From enabling atomic-level precision to breaking down barriers to collaboration, we're transforming our industry and creating the breakthroughs that make so many other innovations possible. Because at Lam Research, we know semiconductor innovation will change the world in ways we can only imagine. Now, let's prove it.
Our next team consists of 8 students, all of whom are from different schools at the secondary level. Though the team members live far distances from one another, this does not prevent them from communicating daily through social media and meeting whenever they can on public holidays. Above all else, the team is united by a shared passion for science, knowledge, love, and peace. Let's take a look at Team Yemen.
بالنسبة لي لأنها تمكنني من اكتساب العديد من الخبرات والمهارات التي تساهم في أن يكون التعليم شامل، وتساعد أيضا ستيم الطلاب أن يكونوا أفضل في البحث العلمي والتفكير النقدي.
أرى أن هذه التجربة ستكون مفيدة لنا وللعالم. لماذا؟ لأنه من خلال هذه التجربة الجميلة سنستطيع توفير الطاقة الكهربائية النظيفة وقليلة التكلفة نسبيا لجميع الناس.
Thank you, First Global.
Thank you, First Global. شكرا فيرست جلوبال لأنكم زرعتم الأمل في قلوبنا ورسمتم الابتسامة في وجوهنا.
نتطلع جميعا أن نلتقي معا في سنغافورة.
We loved hearing about Team Yemen, and you can actually see them playing already on the screen. On the Red Alliance, we have Team Djibouti, Team Yemen, and Team Botswana playing against the Blue Alliance, which is Team Comoros, Team Bulgaria, and Team Albania.
Now, one of the quotes from that Yemen video that at least resonated so much with me was towards the end. We had talked about planting hope in our hearts. And I know that this team wants to put their stamp, okay, and plant their imprint on this first round of competition for all 6 of these squads. We're excited to watch them compete.
Team, I want us to take a look at that intake mechanism, which we really hadn't seen before. Hopefully we're going to be able to take a close-up. I really can't see the flag of which team it is, but it's crazy to see the creativity of the teams and of each country reflected in how different the robots are.
So again, for those of you who are tuning in at home, it is somewhat challenging, aside from the side of the pitch that these teams start on, to see which regional alliance that they're actually in. But the best way for you at home to follow along is making sure that you check the flag on each one of these robots that reflects the country of that particular team.
We are currently seeing Team Albania, which was close to the hydrogen tank. I'm not really sure if they were trying to deposit some hydrogen into it or pushing it, but the strategies just play along.
I was going to say, it looks like we either just had a robot potentially tip over right now. It looks like it's trying to spin its wheels and get on up. I just saw a lot of those oxygen particles spill out from the top.
The excitement just keeps coming at us. We still have almost 35 seconds on the screen.
Definitely not down and out at this point with 30 seconds left. You hear that foghorn, so even though it's a low-scoring affair at present, that doesn't mean we're done yet. It looks like we're going for at least partial or full alignment. That Blue Alliance getting to that top left corner, trying to will that bin from hydrogen and trying to get the oxygen deposited. But it doesn't look like they have any oxygen particles sitting up top.
We now see what looks to be 4, maybe 5 robots heading their way into the reservoir boundary. They're going to want to get at least those 5 points from intermediate proficiency. Let's see if they're able to get there. The match is officially over.
So not all of those robots were able to make it into that reservoir boundary. Again, we've talked about that being the place where these matches are going to effectively start and end. I suspect we're going to see a lot of robots over the course of this competition potentially, butt heads with one another, accidentally flip over, somersault. The acrobatics are endless. It includes the celebrations you see on the sideline right now. And additionally, in our entrance in the Parade of Nations, we saw people doing somersaults and cartwheels all over the place.
The excitement just keeps us going. And I want to talk a little bit about what we saw on that ending shot. We might not have a replay of it, but just to be clear, for the teams to be able to have that proficiency, either intermediate proficiency or expert proficiency, the robots are going to have to be completely within the surface of the reservoir boundary. So I think one of those robots that was trying to climb in but didn't make it all the way to the top didn't get those points. It looks like we have a winner.
I was going to say the Blue Alliance, it looks like they might be one of the first alliances to actually have a full alignment. So we're talking about extreme efficiency in that conversion process. That looks to be something that gave them a little bit of a leg up with a delta of 13 points in terms of the score. Good job to them.
Yes, they get a conversion multiplier of 1.3, which is great for scores just in general. And now I want to get us talking about a next team that has students from different cities and backgrounds who have come together to collaborate on innovative solutions. Despite their difference, they share a common goal on making a positive impact on the world around them and showcasing the rich history and culture that their country has. Through their efforts, they hope to contribute to a better future for both their country and the entire planet. Let's learn more about the Team Islamic Republic of Iran.
Introducing a remarkable team. We are a passionate group of 33 Iranian students aged 14 to 18, joined by 12 dedicated coaches and 7 assistants. Along with over 10 enthusiastic volunteers, we proudly represent Iran on the global robotics stage, driven by the shared mission of promoting cooperation, friendship, and global integrations. Our diverse team is organized into 5 distinct groups: technical, public relations, content creation, fundraise, and new technology experience. With each group led by a capable project manager, we collaborate closely to excel in every aspect of this season's challenges. Program managers facilitate communication, connecting us with mentors and managers and honing our project management and teamwork skills for the future. In a country brimming with talent, from the likes of Maryam Mirzakhani to Hafez Shirazi, we're inspired to make our mark. Our journey extends beyond robotics, encompassing music, self-awareness, communication, and volunteering. We're committed to leaving a positive impact on our community in the world at large. We excel as problem solvers despite distance and sanctions delaying our kit. Entering our 7th competition year, we eagerly anticipate uniting as a close-knit team while embracing diverse events and objectives. With hearts full of anticipation, we eagerly await our journey to Singapore, where we'll showcase our dedication and passion to the world. See you there.
See you there indeed. In fact, we've seen Team Iran the past 7 years of competition, and they have accrued quite a few accolades in that time. We'll talk about it in this next match, but again, they've got to work alongside 2 other countries in their regional alliance, and we're going to take it down to the field so we can see them square up. We're going to get going here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin.
We're starting match number 30 for ranking matches on field number 5. For the Red Alliance, we're going to have Team Croatia, Team Congo, and Team Montenegro playing with the Blue Alliance, which are Team Burundi, Team Zimbabwe, and Team Islamic Republic of Iran.
And as far as the Team Islamic Republic of Iran, I talked to you about the accolades, the wealth of them that they have had over the past 7 years. It includes 2 silver medals, 1 Outstanding Mentor Award, 2 Safety Awards, and 2 Social Media Awards in this competition at FGC.
I love it, and this year they're coming for more awards, as many as they can get. Looking back onto the field, we can see what appears to be Team Iran, is it? Yeah. We can see them on the screen. They have an oxygen on their robot, while we can see another team from what I think is the Blue Alliance getting some hydrogen robot atoms into their robot.
Now, in the top left corner of your screen, you're seeing those smaller hydrogen particles. The human players are not able to interact with those at all. They can only interact exclusively with those larger oxygen particles. Those are the ones that are going to get hucked all the way across the field. You see it right now in the top right corner of the screen. Great job to that Red Alliance. I couldn't tell whether it was projectiled by a robot or by a human player, but again, as long as it can get in that top accumulator, it gets an extra point and potentially alignment later on in the match.
I believe it was Team Montenegro, and we were talking about it earlier, how we somehow figured that we were going to see so many more shooters in the robots, and for some reason, I mean, the team must know why, we're seeing a different strategies. So it's interesting to see a team that actually has a shooter for those hydrogen particles.
And even games of years past, right? We've done carbon before, right? We've talked about water before. This is another example right now of that particle separation happening by that hydrogen bin. We definitely want to get an instant replay of that. That particle separator is doing a great job. They're going to try to push that hydrogen bin as well over to their respective corner.
I think it was Team Montenegro who's trying to locate their hydrogen tank directly into the oxygen accumulator. They're going to want to align it perfectly. And we were also seeing another team from what I believe was the Blue Alliance taking their hydrogen tank onto their regional zone in order to get the human player, get those oxygen particles outside of the hydrogen tank.
So as of now, only 10 seconds remaining. Right now, the Blue Alliance does not look to have alignment. The Red Alliance does. We'll see if they actually press the button. In 3 seconds right now, we've only got 1 robot that is inside and capable of achieving some of those extra points.
Oh, they almost made it on to the reservoir, but it looks like we're going to have only 1 team. However, remember everybody that those points are actually going to both alliances, as in the last 30 seconds they turned into that 1 global alliance.
Now, the Team Republic of Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, apologies, they were trying again to separate some of those oxygen particles from the tippy top, but weren't able to get that hydrogen bin all the way to their respective corners. So it's a shame, while they won't get any alignment points, they will definitely get some of those acquisition points from just the accrual of both of those kinds of particles.
And I love that we were able to see, at least for a second, their Team Zimbabwe and their intake mechanism of how it selects only the hydrogen balls to take into the robot.
And we're going to still wait on some of those scores before we report them back to you. Again, there's a lot to tabulate behind the scenes. And in the meanwhile, unfortunately for you, you're stuck with us up here in the booth. We've had a great time thus far with you. We're only an hour plus into action here with plenty of hours more in store. Marlene, I feel like we've talked about how the game has somewhat changed over time. And right now, I guess, we are out of time. We got the scores finally up, 25 points to 9. So congrats to Burundi, Zimbabwe, and Team Islamic Republic of Iran.
Yes, and our next Team Robotics journey began when they first participated in First LEGO League in 2018 and progressed onto the first Tech Challenge. It seems to be kind of like a common, like, happening here in First Global, where we have, you know, teams coming from different programs of First and participating here with us. We might have some team interviews later on today.
I was going to say, I think we've got an interview down, ready to go right now. Let's take it away. Blair, Melissa, you there?
Hi, I'm down here in the pits with Arnav. He's actually one of our many volunteers who are behind the scenes keeping this event active and alive. Arnav, what are you doing here? What is a robot hospital?
So Robot Hospital is pretty interesting. It's a neutral zone where we help all the robots from all the other teams with any issues they might be facing.
And what brought you to be here as a volunteer at First Global?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm an alumni, as you can see here. I have been in First Global in 2018, 2019, and 2022 as part of Team Zambia. And I was really looking forward to come back as a volunteer and contribute to the spirit of contribution.
And we thank you so much for being here. You are an example of the story of what we're trying to develop here at First Global. You are here as a student. You're now here helping the next generation of students and helping everyone, not just your team. So thank you so much for volunteering and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Melissa.
Awesome. Back to you guys in the booth.
I love that when we're able to talk to the members who were actually students in the past who are now volunteers, we can see the legacy and how First Global has transformed their journey, and they're still here with us today. So thank you, Melissa, for that interview. We're getting ready to start for match number 33 down here on field number 5. So stick with the camera. It looks like we're starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go.
Right now we have Team Ukraine, Australia, and Sao Tome and Principe squaring up against the Central African Republic, Team Papua New Guinea, and Kiribati. Intake systems that we're talking about in particular, working tirelessly to try to get as many of those particles as possible. Now you're seeing the robots scramble outward to the edges, trying to either deposit them in the electrolyzers in the corner, as you're seeing right now, or into those hydrogen bins that are at the bottom of your screen.
We can also see all the way on the right, next to the electrolyzer, we've got them right there. It's Team Central African Republic. I want to let you guys know that the robot actually has size restrictions. They have to start at a maximum of 50 by 50 by 50 centimeters all around. And once the game starts, that's when the robots can actually expand all around and use those mechanisms in their favor to play the game.
Speaking of mechanisms, we'll hopefully get an instant replay of the human mechanisms throwing those oxygen particles over to the far corner of the pitch. Again, those oxygen accumulators haven't seen too much action today, but right now the Red Alliance seems to be proving me wrong.
Yep, it's a talent that I wouldn't be able to do myself. We are seeing, however, a lot of use of the electrolyzers, of splitting those oxygen and hydrogen atoms apart by what appears to be the Red Alliance, and then afterwards our human players.
Only 1 minute remaining in this round of action. We're already at match 33, folks. All 6 of these nations have worked tirelessly, not just to practice and refine their craft, but to perform at their best. Right now, they're on the biggest stage that STEM can offer internationally, and we're excited to have all of you here with us.
We're getting close to those last 30 seconds where we see the strategies play out, and we see that Global Alliance actually convert, but we can see, whoa, I think that was, the Red Alliance. Did you guys see them dropping that amount of hydrogen into the hydrogen tank? Hopefully they're able to push it and align it in the oxygen accumulator to gain as much proficiency and to get also that conversion multiplier.
And in terms of the last 20 seconds left, we're not just talking about conversion multipliers, we're talking about end-game extra points. So as long as you are within the confines of that central water basin, you get from 5 points per robot. If you're able to support yourself, 10 points per robot.
I'm so excited about the Red Alliance. Are they going to be able to align it perfectly? Will they be able to drop the oxygen atoms right into it? The game is up, and we're going to have to see what our scorekeepers and referees have to say about the final score, but what a match.
One of the great parts and components of this event is seeing the students' emotions and their confidence build. It's not just the building of that robot, but it's the building of that human spirit that this event is truly all about. So as you see the replay of this particular event, we're hopeful to give you the replay as well of people throwing some of those oxygen particles. But again, it's just been nonstop action here.
That's what we came here for. I mean, and the action has been going on for months, for weeks. This is just the pinnacle of everything coming together into those matches. I want to see that, that repetition that we just saw on the screen where the hydrogen was being dropped into the hydrogen tank. It looks like we've been seeing a lot of hydrogen being played by robots into the hydrogen tank, and maybe not so much oxygen.
Yeah, not as much. And I would say in that instant replay that we just saw, particularly one of those last images, you saw a dump of all those smaller green hydrogen particles. Again, once that hydrogen basin, that bin, that clear plastic square is actually pushed to the corner, that's when that conversion process can finally take place. We've seen those multipliers come into effect, 1.2 times the amount of particles in some cases if it's partial, 1.3 if it's full alignment and perfect efficiency. We have seen that a couple of times today. I suspect we'll see it a few more times on the field.
As we keep going in the competition, we're going to see higher scores, and for match number 33, we actually have a winning alliance with 78 points. Congratulations to Team Ukraine, Team Australia, and Team Sao Tome and Principe.
And like we said, that 1.3 multiplier was right there, but right now we got to get down to Blair, who's ready for a field interview. Take it away, Blair.
Thank you, Tim. We're by the field number 5, and I'm with a team member from Sao Tome and Principe. What's your name?
Leary.
Leary, you were so excited at the end of that match. Tell me why.
So we won, and we got the most points.
All right, you won that match. You had a previous match. How did you do in your first match?
So we did well as well. We got more points because of the islands, but we are happier this time because this time we could climb better than the last one, and we got more points because of that.
You said you had an issue with timing in the first match too, like you didn't keep track of the clock. Did you go back to the pits and talk about it?
Yes, we did. I was the responsible one, actually. So we were on the first field, and I lost control because there were 2 tables of the timing, and I thought it was one, but it wasn't the right one. So I lost control, and we lost control of the timing, so we couldn't climb. But this time we could, and I'm very happy.
How many practice matches did you have today?
Few, not too much.
Too much? And did your human player practice a lot at home?
Yes. As we at school, we belong to the same school and same class, so we like a lot handball, and we practice. So she's almost an expert on this.
You said handball?
Yes.
Well, it's working. Good luck in the rest of the competition. You're still undefeated. And now back to the booth.
Thank you, Blair, for that interview. And Tim, I actually want to discuss something a little bit different. I want to talk about how much I love seeing girls participate in this competition.
Bingo.
I was with you back in 2018, and even though we had some girl representation, I've seen it change game by game and match by match, and hopefully it keeps growing. We're ready to see what I believe is match number 36, and we're starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
In match number 36, we have Team Côte d'Ivoire, Team Tonga, and Team Estonia. They are competing alongside Thailand, the Team Democratic Republic of the Congo, and Team Sri Lanka. I believe this is actually the second time we've seen these teams out here today.
It might be. We're already 36 matches in, even though it's only been, maybe an hour and a half. I love that we're seeing what I think was maybe 4 different teams actually picking up some of those atoms into their robots. I think it's Team Thailand we can see on the right, another team for the Blue Alliance with also both hydrogen and oxygen atoms in their robots. Yep, they're dropping them into the electrolyzer, and they're going to be able to split the atoms apart. They have the human player throwing the oxygen into the oxygen accumulator. They have the robot picking up the hydrogen. They're just doing everything that the game allows them to.
Now, Team Estonia, one of the teams competing out here right now, says that they live far from one another. It's really part of the process here of learning one another. When they get together, it's really not for extended periods of time. So these teams, in some cases, have known each other for an exceptionally long time, and in other cases, like Estonia, again, with that distance barrier, it's really hard for them to get a lot of that practice, and you heard it in our last field interview as well.
I mean, it's no easy task for any country, but especially for countries that have a challenge or teams that have a challenge such as they do, and they're able to come across. We're almost in our last minute of game, and I love that we've been seeing so much action with the atoms all around the field.
Now that Blue Alliance hydrogen tank right now looks to be actually blocking one of the entrances of the reservoir. So hopefully at the end, the robots can find another way to get those extra points in the middle. We'll see if it can get pushed over to its respective corner. But right now, you're seeing the extending arm from one of the Red Alliances, hopefully lifting those hydrogen Blue Alliance, lifting those particles and dumping it into that hydrogen tank. But again, you got to push it to that corner.
We're seeing it from the Red Alliance as well. This is a pretty tight match. We're seeing action just going on from both teams. And now that we reach the last 30 seconds, the Blue Alliance is trying to push that hydrogen tank into the oxygen accumulator as well as the Red Alliance. It looks like they're taking the strategy of the alignment to get that conversion multiplier, and we already have, I think it's 3 robots and another 3 making their way into the reservoir. Only 10 seconds left in our match, and they've got competition, looking for that competition bonus in this global alliance all the way through.
And we're going to see action all the way through to the end with you here. Again, make sure you're checking us out. It's nonstop action. We got handshakes as well, salutations, closing that particular match out. But things, trust me, are just starting here in Singapore Expo.
They're just starting, and they're, learning how to work together with kids from different countries, from different teams, different cultures in general. I think we got some nice shots here in the Telestrator that we're going to show you guys. Let me see if we're able to pull them through.
So we talked a little earlier on about that potential hydrogen bin that was potentially blocking teams from the very end of actually getting some of those points. But right now, the points are being tallied up by those judges. We're hopeful to get them to you in just a few seconds.
I love seeing those intake mechanisms that can take both hydrogen and oxygen atoms, which are pretty special.
This competition in and of itself is also quite special. It looks like we're just going to get a replay of that match instead of the instant replays we had here for you on the Telestrator. In the meantime, again, a lot of moving pieces. You can see it all happening behind us. And right now, congrats to that Blue Alliance of Teams Thailand, Team Democratic Republic of the Congo, and Team Sri Lanka. Exceptional job to them, 68 points in total.
And not only that, but we also got full alignment. So the Blue Alliance was able to activate the fuel cell, converting the energy in the most efficient way possible.
And it's a pretty efficient machine up here as well. We're talking about team intro videos. We're talking about explanations to the game. We're going with interviews as well. So we're going back and forth. And right now, we've got our pit interview locked and loaded. Take it away.
I'm here with Team Vietnam. How has your first global been so far?
We was doing great. As much as we do, as we can, yeah. Sure.
So you're here, we have your robot. You mentioned you're one of the designers of it. So can you tell us some highlights of this robot?
So the first thing we have is our intake. So I was taking this idea from the suspension system of the car. So when you made up a rock or an objective, your wheel will go up and go down. So we make it like go up and go down so that to both sides of the boat can get in. And we made some rubber bands so that can lift up easier. And I think get into the robot is our electrolyzer. And yeah, I think it's so special too because like we can like solve the big ball into one side and the small ball go down and go into the shooter. Also, I have one more thing that's special is our shooter. So we designed as a magazine, a gun magazine, so we can store more balls and as well as like the shooting is more like rapidly. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, obviously a lot of design and effort went into this robot. Cannot wait to see it out on the field. Yeah. Good luck with the rest of your first global and good luck out there.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Back to the booth.
Thank you, Melissa, for having us talk with Team Vietnam. It's great to see the details on the robot being explained by actual robot experts, not just like you and me, Tim. And it's also great to see, some of those mechanisms for shooters. We're ready to match for match number 39. I'm excited to see what the match has for us. And we're starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
And as they charge on in, we have Mauritania, Fiji, and Serbia on the Red Regional Alliance, and they are competing alongside on the Blue Regional Alliance, Team Azerbaijan, Guatemala, and Peru.
I'm excited to have some Spanish-speaking teams on the field. English is my second language, so the language barrier is just all around for us here in First Global.
And one thing that First Global is trying to do is break down some of those barriers. So again, this is a very proprietary style of competition, and it's something unlike anything else that you're going to see around the globe.
I love that we can already see the Blue Alliance pushing that hydrogen tank all the way to where it's more convenient for their team. It looks like the Red Alliance are leaving it as it is, and they're focusing on getting those atoms.
Now, Team Peru, you just saw them a couple of times. We'll see if we can get an instant replay to you. They just had that basket that lifted all of those oxygen particles into that electrolyzer. Again, we haven't talked about that all that much, but again, the partitions are going to separate those oxygen particles, leaving them at the top for those human players to chuck across the field. And right now, the Blue Alliance seems to be pushing their hydrogen tank under that oxygen accumulator quite early with a minute left to play.
And on the Red Alliance, it looks like one of those teams is actually covering up. Yep, there we go. I believe we have Team Fiji might be dropping both hydrogen and oxygen atoms into the electrolyzer. They were able to divide them and now have their human player throwing it all the way into the oxygen accumulator.
With 1 minute remaining in play, that Blue Alliance does look to have that hydrogen tank underneath that oxygen accumulator. So we're looking for partial or full alignment, but it actually just popped right out. A robot's actually trying to get underneath potentially. We'll see what happens here.
So it's actually no easy task aligning it just as it should be. They might be carrying, oh no, so I know what's going on, team, I'm sorry. So the teams actually have to take the hydrogen tank all the way back to the regional zone and have the oxygen that was placed there. They have to have it removed unless it was dropped by the oxygen accumulator. Otherwise, they would be breaking one of the game rules, and that's what the team was doing. They were playing it fair.
And that's part of the reason why you saw that yellow icon pop up on that red regional alliance. So we'll talk about some of the nuances to this game in greater time. There's not a lot of time left in this game, though. Only about 10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and we have what looks to be 1, 2, maybe 3 robots climbing up on the hydrogen hub structure, trying to get those 10 points for being fully supported by the hydrogen hub. Let's see if they're able to do it, because the match is over. Well, it's over now.
And again, highlighting Team Peru in particular, you see that they still have some of those oxygen particles in the bin in the top of their robot. Doesn't stop them from using that extended arm to try to lift their robot to get fully supported for those 10 extra points at the end.
I'm very excited to see the final score and to see, you know, all of the items come into play, because as we talked about before, this score is actually made up from various different elements. So it's no easy task.
Also no easy task trying to tabulate these scores, particularly with the immense level of emotion that all of these people are experiencing in the building process and then ultimately in trying to compete here.
We're waiting for our scores, and guys, if I'm nervous, I can't believe how the teams are doing down there. They worked so hard for weeks, for months, just to be able to be here today and do their best representing their countries, representing themselves.
We'll see if we can get this replay up for you from our telestrator here in a second. Again, we were highlighting Peru in particular, but I suspect that we're going to see a lot of them throughout the week. Right now, Peru's bin that we talk about on the very top is working its way upward to try to dump, ultimately, those oxygen particles into that electrolyzer. Once it does, then those human players are able to chuck it all the way across the pitch.
I'm going to interrupt you. We have the official scores, and we have 156 points by the Blue Alliance. This is insane. The amount of hydrogen points that we're seeing accumulated. And this is only the first day we are having of matches. I believe we're going to have a lot of fun this week.
There's no question in our mind. But in the meantime, next in the booth, we are joined by Ala Alhabar, an electronics engineer who specializes in AI, robotics, and coding. She is a certified STEM instructor with STEM.org and also serves as the mentor for Team Sudan. Her team is composed of students who have been displaced due to the war in Sudan, and she has been mentoring her students as they spread out across multiple countries. It's extremely unique to be mentoring students who are not only separated from one another, but are now residing in different countries. Can you tell us, please, what challenges that brings?
To mentoring the team who are not in one place and not in one country, it's so difficult. The main challenge we faced is we didn't find the suitable time by the different time zone, and the main the challenge also we faced is the uncertainty materials of our future in the beloved country, Sudan. Also, the main challenge we face is how to build our robot while it's impossible to meet in one place. and so we decided to build our robot in CAD design.
Wow.
Yeah, and we arrived to Singapore 2 days before the challenge kickoff.
Well, you guys are an inspiration for all of us, and I know that all teams have different challenges, of course, but also all teams they all have like a different goal. So I'd like for you to tell us about what you guys are hoping to accomplish here in the competition, what your goal is participating in First Global.
Team Sudan goal to serve the technology in our country and to make our next generation wonderful about the STEM education and robotics, electronics, and this type of science.
And your message is something that I not only need to hear, but the rest of the world does as well. It's inspiring seeing you here and competing. What message do you have for the youth across the globe who may be similarly struggling?
So whatever you pass through, do not give up. Take a risk and move on, and everything will be okay by the end.
Well, Ala, you really are an inspiration to all of us, and I want to personally congratulate you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
I hope you guys can get the best out of this experience, and we're able to be seeing you here for other years. So for now, it looks like we're almost ready to start our next match. It's starting in 3, 2, 1, and let's go.
We have Team Qatar against, but alongside Team Greece and Togo. They are against teams Morocco, Jamaica, and Switzerland.
Team, I'm still just moving from that story and just from the challenges that all the teams are facing. I know that they're all in different scale, but the fact that they're all willing to overcome what they can to be here today is just truly inspiring. And
still staying with the interview just for a quick second, that team had actually arrived only last night. They had extra hurdles from the visa process as a result of the refugee status. So frankly, not all of the team members are actually able to be here, but we know that they're here in spirit.
And we also know that the work that they put into that CAD of that robot is being showed here today in First Global Challenge. And, coming back to the game, we're already, I think it is a minute in, and we're seeing what I believe is a team from the Red Alliance, two teams, from the Red Alliance being ready to deposit atoms into, for the Blue Alliance, the electrolyzer, and for the Red Alliance into that hydrogen tank.
Still quite a few particles to corral in the middle of the park, but it doesn't look like many of the robots are going to focus on them. Instead, what you see in the bottom left corner of the screen again are the Blue Alliance doing a great job, not just with the electrolyzers, but additionally their hydrogen tank. We'll see if we can get you a replay of that in a little bit, but only about a buck left in this game, and by a buck I mean a minute.
That was Team Morocco for the Blue Alliance, and I also want to point out that the Red Alliance has some hydrogen atoms in their hydrogen tank as well.
And we've got a lot of gas left in our tank as well, even though we're starting to close out this first day of competition. Trust me, we've got a lot more action here in Singapore Expo. A lot more action in this last 40 seconds as well, I can assure you of that.
We're getting closer to where we get those final 30 seconds where the strategies start to play out. Both alliances seem to be trying to locate and align the hydrogen tank under the oxygen accumulator. The Blue Alliance appear to have full alignment. I'm not one to say the Red Alliance is trying to achieve the same. And we also have some robots in the middle of the reservoir trying to be hung up and completely sustained by the hydrogen hub. The points that they reach here will actually be adding up to both alliances as a global alliance.
Now, we have yet in any match in this first day to see what's called the cooperation bonus. In order for that to actually happen, you need at least 5 of those robots to demonstrate what's referred to as expert proficiency, which right now I believe we might be seeing only from one squad out there. But the judges, the referees are going to be the ones who decide that right now.
Yes, we're seeing the celebration. I believe we had 5 robots who were showing intermediate proficiency by staying within the reservoir boundary. Those points are going to go to both alliances, and I can't wait to see, that final score. It looks like it's going to be a high-scoring match.
higher and higher scoring because teams are figuring out not just more about this game and about their robots' capacities, but about themselves in this process as well. There's a lot of mental fortitude that comes into play. You're not just trying to learn from each game, you're trying to reflect as a unit and squad and trying to be flexible in your approach. That's not an easy thing to do.
And also, I want to go back to what Dean Kamen mentioned yesterday about how we don't need losers to have winners. So the way that First Global is framed out, it doesn't really matter if you win or lose a match. What matters is the amount of points that you gain in each match. That's why the rankings are going to be formed by the average score that your team was able to get during the entire competition, keeping out that worst match where you maybe just didn't perform as you could. So for the teams that maybe didn't get a win but still got some amazing scores, that still counts.
And both of these teams performed very well, so congratulations in particular to Morocco, Jamaica, and Switzerland, 66 points on the board. But in the meantime, next we want to extend a warm welcome to Team Aruba. This year is the first time that Aruba is represented at a First Global Challenge. Their team members met at a STEM summer camp organized by a local organization called the STEM Embassy. Together, they look forward to doing their part to make sustainable energy technologies a reality. Let's take a look.
Tardi, mi tagindo na brega, meeting this dat.
Hello, my name is Trevor, meeting Jesheta Aya.
Hi, good evening. My name is Janelle.
Hello, mi nombre es Timothy Romain, meeting Jesota Aya.
Y a nos, oficialmente, Team Aruba. I find STEM really important because it gives my generation motivation and also the chance to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
El tema Hydrogen Horizon ta hoop importante para nos isla, sobre nossa full na kuawa kullo porta bom frente alternativo para generar corriente.
Quindi dopo un motore che tra fisicamente da acqua, e dopo aiuta un parti grandi di global warming crisis, di tutte gasolina, tutte fossil fuels che guardo usare.
Então, hoop excited para vai competir tem First Global Challenge, não somente para nos isla, pero para nos dar mais solução para nosso mundo poder mais saudável for the fossil fuel.
I'll use this experience to make my country and the world better, but I need everyone to know that we can't do this alone. We need to do this together.
Make my country and my world better. It's that type of lifting of consciousness, recognizing that there's such a larger world out there that we are all very much a part of, that we have an impact on, and that we can change positively. That's one of many different messages that you take away, not just from Team Aruba, but many of the others that are here in competition.
Yes, I love that last phrase where they mentioned we can't do this alone, we need to do it together. That's what we're here for. We talked yesterday about interdependency, about how even though we are independent countries and though we all work apart, we need to do things together. And that's what they're going to do here in the competition and also in our next match. It looks like we're starting in, 3, 2, 1, and let's go.
In this final ranking match of this first day of competition, we have Team Guinea with Team Slovenia and Aruba that we just saw in that video. They're squaring up against Team Barbados, Team Nigeria, and Team Cuba.
I'm very interested to see what I believe was the intake mechanism from Team Slovenia, which instead of having those kind of orange things that we've been seeing in intake mechanisms before, they had some sort of plastic or transparent component that I'm sort of drawn to.
I was going to say, I hope you are drawn towards this game. These teams are also getting drawn towards the middle of the park, and that's because that's where all of those very crucial particles are. Again, the blue representing oxygen, the green representing hydrogen. There are over 200 pieces on this field, so there's quite a bit to navigate in addition to the challenges of how to score those points.
We currently have a team from what I believe is the Red Alliance. It might have been Team Slovenia. Nope, it was actually Team Aruba, I'm sorry. they were able to throw some of those hydrogen atoms into their hydrogen tank, which is something very unusual, but very successful for the first day of competition.
Now, I imagine as those robots get closer and closer to the sides, it becomes all that much more agonizing. Some robots get so close and yet are still so far. Not all of those particles necessarily make it in to their desired or designed expectations or to their intended locations. That's, again, science in a nutshell, right? Sometimes you can predict, sometimes you can plan, and the world throws you a curveball, and at the time, you just need to be able to respond to it.
And talking about a curve, it's part of the learning curve that the robots and the teams all go through throughout the competition. You know, these are practically the first matches that they've gotten to play in full, so we're going to see them improve with every game as the competition goes along. And I want to talk about a team from the Red Alliance, which are ready to deposit, it looks like it went the other way, some hydrogen atoms into the hydrogen tank.
I love the artistry on that one particular robot. I think there were honeybees that you saw there in that basket. And trust me, there is a buzz in this stadium. They're also flying around, batting their wings, making sure they're trying to get as many points as possible. Only 20 more seconds to do so, though.
On buzzers, we also heard that the buzzer for the 30 seconds. The teams are now a global alliance, and they're going to be looking for that competition bonus in the end. But they're not giving up on applying some more oxygen, some more hydrogen before they make their way into their reservoir.
I was going to say that last shot that we saw was like a two-part basket at the very top that was able to separate between those larger oxygen atoms and then those smaller hydrogen atoms. I think that's the first time I've seen that on a robot in this competition.
Yeah, and it's a very smart move because according to the rules, in your hydrogen tank, you're only supposed to intentionally deposit hydrogen atoms. If you do deposit some oxygen atoms by accident, you would have to take them back into the regional zone, have them removed. So by being able to deposit whichever atoms they choose, they're able to save that extra step of going back into the regional zone.
You're hearing applause in the background. It's the end of this first day, so there's going to be some culminating emotions. I'm sure that some teams are feeling high and mighty and others might be feeling down and low. But again, that's part of this competition, is recognizing that there are continued opportunities to grow and develop.
Team, I have a feeling we have a little bit more to go for today, as some matches might be replayed. I'm excited for it. I can't get enough of the competition as we go.
It looks like right now we can't get enough in this close action. This might be the tightest game we've had thus far, only a 1-point margin separating these two teams. And I think that alignment multiplier might not have come into effect here, but only a 1-point difference. Congrats to that Red Alliance of Guinea, Slovenia, and Aruba.
I can't believe we're seeing so close matches, even if it's just the first day. And I'm sure those scores are going to start cranking up with every day, with every match, as the teams become more accustomed to how they drive their robot, to how the field goes, to how to, negotiate and just talk about strategies with their alliances and teams they've never worked with before.
And in terms of strategies, again, you might have a plan before you come into this arena in competition, but at the end of the day, you might be thrown a surprise or two that you were not expecting. The same holds true in the booth as we're trying to close this day out. We're going to see a lot more action here on the 5 fields. Again, there are 5 of them behind us if you're taking a look. We're looking at the one right in the middle throughout this action over the next 3 days, but in reality, there's a lot happening throughout this entire expo.
Yep, and the work has been going on since before we came here to the competition. The teams have been together for months, for weeks, working into what we have today. We actually have some team videos for you guys to learn more about them. And we're going to see one of those team videos right now.
Hello world, we're Team Canada from Edmonton, Alberta. Our team embodies the true spirit of Canada, a diverse group of students with unique life experiences and cultural backgrounds. United by our shared passion for robotics and outreach, we strive to combine our individual skills and dedication.
As a community team, we welcome every student, regardless of their skill or background. Thanks to the unwavering support from our local science center, TELUS World of Science, we enjoy a facility enriched with various resources. This allows us to unleash our creativity and meet regularly in the makerspace. As part of our mission, we take pride in engaging with the public through numerous outreach initiatives, igniting the spark of curiosity in young minds and their passion for robotics. Recently, we've been thrilled to partake in summer camps at the Science Center, where we imparted knowledge of coding and robotics. Our journey has led us to enriching experiences like National Indigenous Peoples Day, Canada Day, and Edmonton's Maker Fair. where we not only promoted Team Canada's participation in First Global, but also inspired children to embark on their own robotics adventure.
Singapore, brace yourselves, because here comes Team Canada, ready to make a mark in the realm of robotics.
In addition to Team Canada, Team Angola defines themselves as passionate and hardworking. They were selected to represent Angola at the first Global Challenge after they won the prestigious 2022 National Robotics Championship in their home country. They are determined to continue learning, growing, and inspiring others to embrace the exciting world of robotics. So let's take a look at Team Angola.
Hello guys, we are Team Angola.
Hello guys, my name is Joaquim Jr.
Hello guys, my name is Luis.
Olá pessoal, meu nome é Edmilson Martins Manuel.
Hello guys, my name is Rosane Lisboa.
I'm one of the members of First Global Team Angola 2023. It is my second time to participate in this competition. The first time it was in 2021, but because of pandemic of COVID-19 it was online, and we are so excited to meet you.
I'm one of the members of Team Angola. I'm very excited to participate in this edition of Robotics Championship. I'm mechanic of Team Angola, and yes, guys, see you soon.
Sou 10 anos de idade e faço parte do time Angola como mecânico.
On the Team Angola, I have 18 years old. I am a pilot of the robots.
We are so proud of Team Angola and what they've gotten to do up until this point. But our next team hails from the second oldest independent nation in the Western Hemisphere. Coming from 3 different schools in the city of Jacmel, this team from Haiti was first introduced to robotics back in 2021. Though robotics is still in its infancy in this nation, the notion of collaboration for a better future is definitely nothing new. Though our next team has faced many obstacles to get here, they're looking forward to sharing their experience with others in this competition. Let's take a look.
Hello First community, I'm Flovio Giovanni, one of the mentors. I'm really happy today to introduce you to our team, Team IT, a team built on determination, unity, work ethic, environmental engagement, and especially hope. Hope of a future with our children or young people solving problems with STEM in their community. As I said, this is an amazing team, so let me introduce you to them.
Hello, moi c'est Bégin Héloïse Marie-Suzy.
Hello, moi c'est Saint-Jean Ouchny.
Non pas, c'est Élisée John Patterson.
Hello, moi c'est Virgin Stanley Kelly.
Hello, moi c'est Landy Telus, moi fais partie de Team Haïti.
We are Team Haïti.
C'est important parce que l'aide à développer capacité, analyse et résoudre problème. Parce que l'aide à comprendre tout phénomène dans tout aspect, autant que changement climatique, technologie avancée et développement scientifique.
STEM aide à développer compétences dans technologie, énergie propre et communauté.
Moi fait un pile belle expérience ensemble avec STEM. Expérience ça bataille avec un pour compte. Pendant que moi prêt mettre des projets en marche et m'a venir à des idées innovantes capables de booster la croissance économique.
Je suis content de participer à First Global Challenge parce que dans la compétition, ils ont encouragé la coopération et la communication à travers diverses nations.
The next team that we're going to focus on is Team Burundi, and it is a group of 5 girls who wholeheartedly engage themselves in STEM education. The team says that despite the stereotypes about women that exist in the world, quote, we strongly believe that we can emerge to take up the challenges and become the drivers of change for the community. Through First Global, they're excited to imagine and create solutions to the world's problems. And here's a look at Team Burundi.
Salut tout le monde, nous sommes l'équipe First Global qui représente très bientôt le Burundi aux Olympiques robotiques de Singapour. Cette rencontre internationale ravit le sens profond de collaboration et l'enthousiasme de créer la différence dans notre communauté.
En tant qu'une équipe de filles, cela est notre fait de faire savoir que la femme est capable de s'intégrer au travail scientifique, malgré la tradition burundaise qui considère la femme comme une auxiliaire. Nous sommes excités à participer au First Global et partager notre faire savoir.
L'initiation du programme First Global est une démonstration de l'unicité dans la diversité. Nous sommes contents de vivre cette expérience qui contredit le monde actuel en fragmentation. Nous partageons les techniques et les savoir-faire que nous estimons importants et nécessaires pour résoudre les défis communautaires comme la production de l'énergie utile pour le développement durable et résilient.
First. And the next team's robotics journey began when they actually participated in First LEGO League in 2018 and progressed to the First Tech Challenge in 2020. Now they're representing their country here at First Global, where they are excited to utilize their skills and learn new ones from people all around the world. Here's a look at Team Australia.
Hi, I'm Corinne.
And I'm Justin.
And we're so excited to be representing Australia in this year's First Global. Our robotics program started 10 years ago in the corridors of our science lab and now has since grown to be one of the largest in Australia.
We have programs for kids from Year 1 to Year 12 that teach skills in engineering as well as teamwork and competition.
It's been really cool getting to meet teams from all around the world, talking about anything from how the robot's going to culture.
It's also been great focusing on what we can do for the community, such as mentoring new robotics teams from rural and refugee communities.
Previously, Australians' hydrogen horizons have been slowed by money-making coal mining schemes.
However, we are adopting solar and wind power, especially in inland Australia, to shift our energy sources to more renewable forms.
We think STEM is pivotal to a safe, secure and sustainable future.
Australia's engagement in STEM has led to great discoveries, such as the modern cochlear implant, the HPV vaccine, and even Wi-Fi.
We are so excited to innovate and collaborate with people from all over the world.
Best of luck to all teams across this season, and we'll see you in Singapore.
We'll not just see that team in Singapore, we'll see plenty of others compete. 191, I repeat, 191. This competition has grown exponentially over time, and I think it's a reflection of not just the work that so many people have put in, but the fact that it is just galvanizing a larger effort over time. We're hoping to see that evolve as well, but right now we actually need to give you a replay of match number 9, so we'll get you those teams in a second, but we're ready to begin in 3, 2, 1. Let's do it.
So for the replay of match number 9, we're going to have Team Hong Kong, China on the Red Alliance, Team Solomon Islands, and Team Mozambique playing with the Blue Alliance, which is composed of Team Grenada, Team Côte d'Ivoire, and Team Senegal.
Now, we mentioned Senegal yesterday in our Parade of Nations. They are no strangers to Olympics-style events like this one. In fact, they were the first African nation to host anything of the like with their 2022 Youth Olympic Games. So we're seeing how it translates into STEM in Singapore here in 2023.
And talking about Senegal, they're actually ready in the electrolyzer of the Blue Alliance, depositing some both hydrogen and oxygen atoms, expecting them to be divided by the electrolyzer based on their size.
And in terms of the size, the same goes for the countries. Doesn't matter if you're big or small, same deal with teams. Doesn't matter if you're big or small, everybody has a part to play, and everybody has a chance to win this thing and take home the hardware.
That's the beauty of robotics, that's the beauty of FIRST, and that's the beauty of this weekend, that we're going to see teams and students just grow and learn and do their best every single day.
I was going to say STEM can be the great equalizer without question. We are about halfway through this match right now. A lot of those particles that you're seeing congregated to the right side of that reservoir boundary. So again, blocking the way potentially for one of those robots to come in there at the very end, but we won't know for another 30 seconds or so.
And as for the Blue Alliance, it looks like they're trying to deposit that hydrogen tank under the oxygen accumulator. It might be important for them to know if they're able to align or not align before they deposit the oxygen from the oxygen accumulator into the hydrogen tank.
So if you're thinking about the actual journey that it has taken to get here to this point, 2.5 minutes, not enough time, certainly, to reflect the long journey that it's been and for all the work that these teams have put in. So I imagine there is a lot of stress on that field right now.
There's a lot of stress, and there's also a lot of like a learning curve, which is what we've talked about during this weekend. Today is the first day that they've gotten to play actual matches here in the competition. And as the last 30 seconds unwind, we have already one team in the hydrogen hub. It looks like they're going to try to climb onto the structure. We have two other teams already located between the reservoir boundary. We're going to see if other teams are able to get in and get that competition bonus.
You see that extension working its way up in the bottom of your screen. There are only 3 robots right now that are in that central reservoir, but we'll see if they can haul themselves up in that last second of play. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Won't know until we get the referees out there sweeping the field and tabulating those points. We're exceptionally grateful to them because that's got to be a very difficult job.
It really is. And you know, even though I believe it was 3 teams were able to get that intermediate proficiency in the energy conversion, they still get 5 points per robot, and those points are going to be awarded to both alliances. On the last 30 seconds, they turn from a regional alliance to a global alliance.
You see the balls that are bouncing around. We're bouncing around here with a lot of energy as well in this expo arena. It's exceptionally large, but filled with quite a bit of anticipation and excitement. People have waited a long time, and in fact, 1 year for this competition to take shape. We're waiting to get those scores to you in just a few seconds, but we're on the way to closing out day 1. Marlene, what do you think it's been like so far?
It's been great. There's honestly no other way to describe it. It's been exciting. It's been nerve-wracking also. And I just loved seeing those students, you know, fulfill their dreams of participating. And we have our scores for the replay of match number 9. It looks like the Blue Alliance took the win with 16 points for Team Grenada, Team Côte d'Ivoire, and Team Senegal, but the Red Alliance is not far behind with 15 points being added up to their point average.
I was going to say, it looks like that one oxygen point ended up making the difference in the end, and that's another reflection of how every little bit makes a difference, right? We talk about the same thing with science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and the progress we're trying to make as a human race. I believe that we've got an interview in the pits that is ready to roll, so take it away, Melissa.
I'm here with Annalisa from Team Germany here at First Global. How has your First Global been so far?
So we've had our first win this day, and we've finished our robot, we finished our pits, so all is set, all is done, and we're like waiting all of it to happen. So what's happening next, and we're so excited.
Awesome. And you guys have one of the, like, I would say, very decorated pits here. Like, what was kind of the mindset behind this decoration for the Team Germany?
So Team Germany is a nation which is in love with football, and they always putting up flags and everything. We took that admiration for football, maxed it out, put all the German equivalents of flags and all of that. We took it from our students, mentors, members, all of that, everything you had at home. We said, bring it here. We put everything in a suitcase and placed on a pit as much as we could. And this here is our pride and joy. It's a German flag, but we try to incorporate our culture with every other culture of the planet. It's something that we're very proud of. It's an idealized vision of the world that no matter where you are, you're accepted, you are loved, and you're incorporated to it. And it's something we love and share about First Global.
Fantastic. It really is beautiful to see this. And again, it's just an epitome and example of what we're doing here at First Global. Thank you so much. Good luck, Team Germany. Back to you guys in the booth.
I frankly could not have been happier to end at least the pit interviews with that particular young woman. Exceptional words from her saying, you all have a place here, you all have a home here. That's certainly something that we could all learn from, and I say that as a full-grown adult. It's an exceptional thing and model for us to all follow. We're going to get to a replay finally of match 12 in just a few seconds here. We're ready to go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Starting officially the last match of the day with match number 12, For the Red Alliance, we're going to have Team Slovakia, Team Switzerland, and Team Ethiopia playing against the Blue Alliance, which is formed by Team Cyprus, Team Guatemala, and Team Bermuda.
Team Cyprus, I was going to say, right in the foreground of that last shot, doing an exceptional job using that intake system to accrue as many of those oxygen and hydrogen particles as possible. Meanwhile, Slovakia, a team we haven't talked too much about, they actually had, believe it or not, their robot burn up in the national qualifiers multiple times. So talk about putting your feet to the fire. That's a literal and metaphorical example, and we're excited to have them competing here today.
And Tim, I know it's great that we're able to see so many oxygen atoms that were placed into the electrolyzer, because that way we're able to see the human players throwing them all the way to the oxygen accumulator. I'm sure that's quite a workout. I don't know if I would be able to put any of those atoms inside the accumulator.
I was going to say Switzerland is on the field as well. They were our gracious host nation last year. They find themselves quite far from home at this point, but feeling like they're at home on this field. They've done an exceptional job in this competition so far, and it's only beginning, and they're just warming up.
Yeah, they were on the corner of their electrolyzer for their field. I'm not really sure if they were trying to, acquire some more hydrogen and oxygen balls, or if they were actually placing them into the electrolyzer. We're going to have to see how it played out for them.
We had a couple shots ago, and I'm exceptionally proud of this particular group. Team Bermuda, they did a great job trying to deposit all of those particles in the respective hydrogen sink as well. Or sorry, not hydrogen sink, hydrogen tank. I continue to use the incorrect term. I apologize.
Okay, we're seeing the Red Alliance. I think it was Team Ethiopia trying to push that hydrogen tank all the way into the oxygen accumulator. I'm not really sure if they're going to try to, it looks like they're trying to line it up perfectly under the oxygen accumulator even before those last 30 seconds start. Talk about getting just ahead of the game.
Now for that Blue Alliance right now, that hydrogen tank looks like it's in quite a precarious position. I don't know if they're going to be able to get it to the corner over by that oxygen accumulator, but we'll see in the last 20 seconds how this scramble shakes out.
It might also be an obstacle to get into our reservoir boundary, who's usually pretty cramped with 6 robots, so adding up a hydrogen tank on the side might be an extra obstacle. But it looks like we have, I think, 4 teams successfully between the reservoir boundaries. Let's see if in the last 3 seconds we're able to get another one.
And even though that concludes at least the field of competition for today, you see that breath, that sigh of relief. I can understand that emotion, particularly as a competitor on the field. They've done so much in order to be here.
I'm excited to see what our referees and our scorekeepers down on the field were able to determine, not only today, but also how they're going to be determining the scores for the next 2 days of competition, because we couldn't be here without volunteers. We couldn't be here without our staff. They're the force that carries first, the organization itself, in order to be available for the kids and the students.
And in terms of available, this footage throughout the day is not just going to be on YouTube, but check out the First.Global webpage. We're going to be live throughout the entire action and series of this particular event. But right now, we've very quickly come to the end of day 1 of the 2023 First Global Challenge. We're just waiting for scores before we actually officially close this thing out. We're hopeful to have you continue to plug into us and everything that we're doing over the next few days here. From the long journeys teams have taken to get here, the excitement of yesterday's opening ceremony, to the energy that teams brought to the field today for the first time, it's exceptional.
And it's only the beginning. We're only on day 1 of our qualification matches. We still have the rest of the 2 days to go. We still need to have our finals, our playoffs, that closing ceremony, the awards. We're just getting started.
And in terms of just getting started right now, trust me, the game is going to open up a little bit more. We're going to talk about more of the nuances to this game. We're going to peel back some of the layers to it. I know that these teams will go back to their respective hotels. They'll confide in and confer with one another. In the meantime, we've got to finalize the scores, and we've got them in front of you right now. Congrats to that Red Alliance.
I just want to give a shout out to what looks to be rankings that are actually starting to hype up or hype down some of the teams. As we mentioned before, it doesn't really matter if you win or lose a match. What matter are the scores that your alliance is able to put up, as they're going to be added in your average. And that's going to be what actually adds up that ranking during the competition.
So again, we have rapidly come to the end of day 1 of this 2023 First Global Challenge from Singapore Expo. And from the long journeys teams have taken to get here, to the excitement of yesterday's opening ceremony with the Parade of Nations, to the energy that teams brought into the field of play for this very first time.
All of these students will return to their hotel rooms tonight to rest, to strategize for tomorrow's long day of collaborative competition. But from all of us here at First Global, thank you for joining us, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Singapore time.
Until then, here's a look back at some of the highlights from today. Good afternoon. On behalf of First Global, we are pleased to welcome you and the world to the 2023 First Global Challenge at Singapore Expo in Singapore.
Starting in 3, 2, 1, go!
What are you most looking forward to today, the first day of First Global actual competition day?
Well, we are just now looking forward to the first matches, looking forward to seeing some competition. Very excited.
Everywhere you look, there's proof that semiconductors are changing the world. They're enabling new technologies that help save lives, enhance access to education, and shape the future of business and computing. But as semiconductors become increasingly critical to our world, demands continue to grow for them to become smaller, more efficient, and more sophisticated. At Lam Research, we're innovating to meet this demand every day. We create machines that enable modern chip production and push the boundaries of what's possible. We partner with customers to boldly take on the world's biggest challenges while supporting communities and driving greater sustainability. From enabling atomic-level precision to breaking down barriers to collaboration, we're transforming our industry and creating the breakthroughs that make so many other innovations possible. Because at Lam Research, we know semiconductor innovation will change the world in ways we can only imagine. Now, let's prove it.
And then you turn right.
Thank you.
You think you know Singapore? Then what's this?
And this.
And this.
The school play was really coming together until disaster struck. Luckily, replacement costumes were shipped with FedEx, which means Mr. Harvey could picture the perfect night. FedEx can help you be ready for what's next.
Passion to exist.
Across the world, innovators from all backgrounds are solving the greatest energy and climate imperatives of our time. That's why the U.S. Department of Energy supports First Global, because you represent the diverse, clean energy workforce of the future.